Something fun here. What's up, guys? Let's get this intro right here for you. Okay. Sorry, we are a few minutes late. I was having technical difficulties again this week. It's frustrating, super frustrating. So I want to say welcome to RedHat Scotty to the episode. I'm excited about this one. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
We've never met each other. We've been on the same 2.0 race week last year, and I'm excited for you to tell some Rocky Mountain Race Week stories, but then also some other drag and drive event stories. I've got down here on the bottom on the scroller says
laugh when I've seen that too.
Yeah, 6-time drag and drive event participant and all around badass dude. You really were. Let's start with 2.0 last year because I want to say you guys changed 2 engines during the week.
We just did 1.
Okay.
Yeah. We weren't that big of a badass like some of the other guys, but we did do 1, and it was brutal.
But it was like the first night or something like that, right?
Yeah, it was day 1. We were like one of the first 20-some cars down the track, and it let go at the finish line and drove it back to the pits, and we're looking at it, and me and the dude, you'll hear me say the dude a lot. The dude is my dad.
Oh, okay.
He's my co-pilot, just my best friend.
That's awesome.
And so we decided, we're on vacation, and we bought a motor at midnight from a great guy, Dustin, and right outside Tulsa, and stayed all night and put that thing in there.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So tell us the setup in the car and then what you ended up with.
So I've got an 89 Ford Mustang notchback. It's just a 5.3 cam, and it's got a VS Racing 7875 turbo, turbo 400 Holley EFI. Your
nice
cookie cutter LS swap car.
Yep.
For a few years.
Yeah, don't BS me build from Sloppy. Yeah, that's awesome. That's what's in my old truck is just a 4.8, 7 billet wheel 7875 and a cam. It's an 80, but same.
Getting exotic on me with that billet wheel.
Yeah, man. So the story behind it is my brother won it in a raffle and I bought it from him. So yeah. And it's a Gen 1. It would have been a cast wheel if I had to buy it because I'd have saved the money.
Right. Hey, I understand that.
Yep. 500 wheels, 500 wheel, right?
Yeah, exactly. They'll push you into the 10s. I mean, that's a lot of power to go get some cat food,
That's exactly right. Well, ice cream, burn out some ice cream, baby.
Yeah.
All right, let me get some questions opened up. So tell us like where you're from, kind of and we're going to get into some of the why drag and drive, how many you've been on, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I live in a little town called Grain Valley, Missouri, just right outside Kansas City.
Oh, cool.
Not too far from the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium, just right down 70 Highway.
Nice.
Born and raised in this area.
So there's a bunch of street racing that goes on up there.
Just a little bit.
It's the best part of being in the middle of the country. I'm actually jumping over and I'm going to share the live feed across a couple different Facebook groups here while we're kind of getting into this. So being from there, you're like 3 hours from me, which is just about the perfect day trip for the cart. Any more than that, and it's just too much.
You're down in Arkansas, right?
Yep, just barely. We're in Bentonville, which is about 20 minutes inside of Northwest Arkansas.
Okay.
Little company here in town, Walmart. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. It's got a couple retail stores across the country. So they kind of own it. When your city is like 20,000 or 30,000 people and there's 7 Walmarts, that's a pretty big deal.
That's like us and Casey's over here. There's 3 Casey's in this town.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Casey's is like the Dollar General of gas stations now. It's like, Dollar General and a Casey's. You're on the map now.
They just need to merge, make it one store.
Yes, Dollar Casey's, General Casey's. I like
General
it.
Casey's, I like it.
All right. So let's get into it. So being from there, obviously, if your dad is racing with you, he's probably a big part of why you're into car stuff, right? I mean, that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah. So I guess if we go back, the thing that really got me into like motorsports and everything is the dude took me to monster trucks when I was not even 2 years old. I was like barely 2 years old. And I'm a huge monster truck nerd. So like,
Nice.
we want to talk about monster trucks, we can do that too. So that kind of got the ball rolling. And then I grew up with him doing street rod stuff. Him and my one uncle, Ed, they had street rods. So we would literally travel in his 46 Ford sedan. I mean, we went Minnesota numerous times, down to Texas a couple times, and I mean everywhere in the Midwest.
Yeah. The great thing about street rods that really changed the game for a lot of folks was those cars were built to drive. And like before then, everybody kind of just how fast can we make it go, and how fast can we get to the track? And those cars, I mean, 70s and 80s really moved the bar forward. Like they don't have to make 500 horsepower. They've got to make it 500 miles,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so that ended up playing a lot into, these drag and drives for us because, I remember going out, in his car and we'd take these super long trips and it was a pretty, flawless deal. And, every now and again something would come up, but he, when he built that car, made sure if you had to fix something, you could do it on the side of the road, way before this stuff started happening. And so that was just one of them extra little things that was kind of cool for me coming into this world.
Yeah. So I want to talk, from what I understand, and the folks I've talked about you to them. This will come off kind of interesting, but BJ Shane here says Red Hat is a badass guy. And then David Maxon said, RedHat Scotty, you are a badass. Can't thank you for all the advice at Rocky Mountain Race Week. So,
yes, man. Love you guys, man.
That's awesome. Yep. Everybody, man, I think that's the coolest part. And that's what I want people that haven't experienced Rocky Mountain Race Week to understand about Rocky Mountain Race Week is like, you're now a family. You know what I mean? Like you're now part of it. So
yeah. And that's the thing, man. That's the best part of, especially Rocky Mountain. I mean, the way that Matt and June and their whole crew set this thing up, once you do it and you get into it, you're family. I mean, I'm friends with so many people on Facebook, social media and everything. I only see once, maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
But every time you see them, it's like no gap in time whatsoever.
Yep.
And it's literally the family aspect of this event is probably the greatest thing. I always say, the drag racing's the bonus.
Oh yeah, for sure. One thing that's kind of crazy, like our end, I make it to the track 2 times a year, except for race week. And then it's 5 in 5 days, like I go to the track more on race week than I do the entire year. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yep. It's more street car fun stuff for us here, not street racing, but street just driving around and having a good time. All right. So should we get into the RedHat Scotty name or save that for a minute? I've got it as my first out of the gate question because I know everybody wants to know and they're lined up behind you. And so let's just tell the folks how you are RedHat Scotty.
All right. So it's kind of a silly deal. Back when I was in elementary school, I was in the 6th grade. My buddy Jay gave me a red Nebraska hat, and I actually still have this hat.
Oh my God.
This is the OG red hat. This is what started everything. And I wore this thing. I mean, it actually looks pretty decent on camera, but it's pretty gross, like in real life. But I wore that thing for so long, and everybody just kind of like knew me as that. And then after I wore that hat out, I got like some, teal hat or some blue hat. I don't know. And I remember standing out in the playground and everybody's like, hey man, where's Scotty? And I'm like, dude, I'm right here. And they're like, where's your red hat?
Nice.
And it's literally been like that since I was in the 6th grade, however long ago that was.
So when you introduce when friends introduce you to other people, are you introduced as RedHat Scotty?
9 times out of 10, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Dino
I mean,
Cardella is popping in here saying, "What's up?"
Who was?
Dino Cardella.
Hey.
Yep, he had the Hot car on 2.0 last year.
Right. So with the hat thing too, I actually have taken this pretty seriously because it's been a pretty big part of my life. I actually have my red hat tattooed on me.
Nice.
I don't know if we can see it, but I actually do have a red hat tattooed on my chest.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, dude, that's who you are,
You know, it's sometimes every now and again, if I want to go out incognito, I'll put on a black hat. Nobody knows I'm there.
That's awesome. That's how I'm seeing the video now. Like somebody's watching a video later, like sometime later in life, and they see that it pans across the crowd. It's you in a black hat, and they're like, wait, no, he's got to have a twin.
It's actually happened.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. So let's get into, how about let's talk project cars, because you've posted a couple pictures of like a motorhome or something. So let's talk about current project cars, and then I'll definitely want to get into some of the past projects too.
So yeah, I'm a big project guy. I probably have too many irons in the fire at all times. Yeah. So I just recently bought a 1989 Chevrolet G30 Mallard Sprinter motorhome. It is now nicknamed the Neighbor Hater because my neighbors were not happy when I showed up with it.
They're like, is that going in the front or the backyard?
Yeah. We've actually had some issues with the neighbors recently. And so after I did that, they
were like, man, this guy's got too many projects.
Yeah. Which luckily I keep, currently I have the Race Week car here. I've got an old truck here. I've got a 65 Rambler American here.
Ooh.
And then I rent a shop not too far from here. And that's where the other projects are. The Neighbor Hater.
Nice.
And
so what's the plan for it? Just simple resto, or are you guys going to like?
So it had a locked up 350 small block in it. So I bought it because it was cheap. Yep. It's getting a 5.3 4L80 and Holly with the Terminator X Max.
Dang. And then you're going to do some traveling in it? Is that kind of the plan? Be a tow hotel?
Yeah, so it's going to be dual purpose. It'll be the, travel lodge in for me and the dude when we go out of town.
Yeah.
And then I've got 2 daughters and my wife. And so they want to go out. I know my wife really wants to see a bunch of the national parks and different things like that. So when I mentioned it to her and she said, can we do this? I was like, absolutely. And she said, yes, you can buy it then. So
that's cool. Yeah, so how old are you? So I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old daughter. So I know what 2 girls is like.
Oh, they're a blast. I've got a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, McKenna and Mavis.
Nice. That's awesome. Dirty Panda over here says a towtel, TOWTEL. Tow the race car hotel.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's cool. All right. So you've got that one. You've got the Race Week car, which you went over a while ago. What's in the Rambler? What's the plan for the Rambler?
So the Rambler, it's a 1965 Rambler American 2-door hardtop. I bought it. It's been a few years. We started on it. It's going to be another LS swap. I've got an all aluminum true LS1. I've got a nitrous outlet stinger plate for it.
Nice.
Basically, I just kind of want that to be like the weekend cruiser, take the kids, go get some, ice cream.
Yep. Do burnouts.
Somebody pulls up on the light, I got to have a little something for them.
Yep. And that car will be pretty light. I mean, I'd say, close to 3,000 pounds with that setup, it'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm going to try to shoot for like 2,900.
Yeah. That'd be cool. And I mean, 400, 450, 500 with the bottle, like pretty easy setup, to run quick enough in town to make, let the kids have fun and not spill their ice cream everywhere.
Right. Or hey, if they do whatever, we'll just, clean it up, work it out later.
That's exactly right. Dirty Panda said he did a swap over the weekend. He's about to bring the 240 into the garage to tear it down. So
Nice.
yeah, that's awesome. All right. So let's talk about some past project stuff. Or wait, hang on. On the race week car, how fast has that car been?
In the current configuration, it's been 1040 at like what dude, like 128, I think.
Dang.
Yeah, it's been like 128, 129, like 1040. And that's it's low boost.
Yeah.
It's I think that car only makes like 10 pounds boost. It's on pump gas.
You got to turn that thing, dude. The old truck, it's on 13, and then there's been a ton of times where it's been over 20. So
that's everybody always gives me a hard time because I don't turn it up, and I will, but I'm a track guy because of my job. I can't really go out the street too much, so I've only got the 6-point cage in it.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I haven't tried to push it too hard.
Yeah.
With the previous motor, we've been 1021 at 138.
That's awesome. And that's fast enough.
I mean, for that car, yeah.
Yeah.
Next time we're on the track, man, come over and look at it, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's fast enough."
Hey, listen, Fox bodies, man, it's amazing how fast those cars can be, and they just look like regular cars. It's wild, man. It's wild.
Yeah. That's when touching back on the other projects. I've had a 91 GT since May of 2002. It was my high school car, and we've been, I keep saying it, we're in the process of getting it put back together. I have basically everything to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Other projects, time, kids, family, job stuff.
Yep.
But that car there, I really want to put a set of like 17-inch Cobra R's on it and a stock hood and take it out. And I mean, that car should be like an 890 car.
What? Wait, hold on. Wow. That's what's up. What's the setup in that car?
Another cookie cutter LS steel. It's basically an iron L33, with the 243 heads. It's got BTR stage 2 cam in it, Borg Warner S475, built glide. It's super light, 10-point cage, all the 850 legal cage stuff.
Yeah. So
all of it.
What's funny is like I graduated in 99. So like a Fox body, I mean, that was, like you got to figure it's a 6 or 8 year old car when I graduated, 93s. So like the Cobra R wheels and all that kind of stuff. And like, 2-chamber Flowmasters, on like a small block Ford. I'm like, yes, I'm all in on building, that car. I really want a notch at some point in my life, but, and then for that car to bust off like, 8s, that's wild, man. Dude,
I'm trying. So the goal for that car is I want to do 5 anything in the 8th and 8 anything in the quarter. I want to drive it to, hopefully we're getting a track here next summer, hopefully.
Yeah.
Crossed.
Yep.
And that track's supposed to be 20 minutes from my driveway.
Wow.
That's the goal.
Yep. So we do a small drag and drive event to benefit a children's shelter here in town. And that was our plan. I think it was supposed to be this April. We were going to do Mocan and then that track and then back to Mocan, but that track's not open yet. So it needs to come on. So, all the folks from 301, Lewis and Wendy Martin, all those guys.
Yep.
They're
all guys. Yep.
Yep. They're a big part of that charity stuff. So, they're like, man, can we get up here?
When I hand grenaded the 6-liter in my Mustang was at the circuit event a few years ago at Mocan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hey, we're so glad you're there. That's really cool.
Yeah, actually, Sleeper and Lewis, I think we're 2 of the guys that helped push it on the trailer.
That's even better, man. They're good dudes. They really are. I always look forward. I've got to go spend more time with them. I see them like 3 times a year. It's last year was race week, and then drag and drive and the shootout and all that kind of stuff this year. So
right, I totally agree.
Yep.
I love those guys. 301, love them guys.
Yep. I intend to have them on before we get on to Race Week before we get there. I'm trying to stack as many of you Race Week veterans on here as I can between now and then. So I just want people that are not familiar with what this really is, because I think when you're on the page, the RMRWers page, it's a typical Facebook. There's not as many folks on it, but I think sometimes people get in the mix of not understanding what is coming, what is actually going to happen.
Right.
Yep.
That's
so
the big thing is trying to get people prepared. I mean,
yeah,
you can, we've done it, just show up and try to run this event, but
yeah,
that's crazy.
Well, and a lot of times I think people are used to there's not very many of us that haven't been to a racetrack before that are going to take off on this event, so I think they kind of get it. But about day 3, you can really see the people that were not prepared for this.
Oh yes.
Yeah. They got big bags and they're like, whoa, what are we doing? Just zombies, which is great. So, all right. So we've kind of covered projects. What about some past favorite builds of you and your dad?
Oh man. So I've pretty much been a Mustang guy since I started driving. I think my first Mustang I got was shortly after I turned 16. We played with that, did pulleys, headers. Yep. The first time it was an automatic car. It was an 88 AOD. And the first time we got it to go $14.99, you would have thought we went 10s.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we both lost it. Couldn't believe it. I mean, it was so fast back then. And then progression of that, we ended up with another Mustang, and then we ended up putting a Paxton supercharger on it. It was 100% stock with a Navi 1000 blower, and it went like 1330s.
You were like, "This is fast."
Oh yeah. At that time when I had that car, I was the fastest, kid at my high school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was silly because it wasn't fast, but at the time.
Yeah. No, I just wonder what I would like to cruise through the high school parking lot now. I wonder if there's like some fast stuff at the high school parking lot now.
There's got to be David Maxon, his son, with their S10 they got. He just graduated, and that thing's gnarly.
That's awesome.
Imagine,
Turn some kid loose. We were happy with 13s. Like my buddy had a notch, and I had a V8 swapped little S10 Blazer, and we raced all the time. Like I could beat him in the 8th, but he had me in the quarter. Like all that kind of stuff, and
right.
And so it was all. I mean, we raced every week, I think. And those cars were, I mean, they were probably 13-second, cars, and we thought we were doing something.
Man, so back then, I had some buddies that had like IROC Camaros, and one dude was real big into Monte Carlos, and here comes my little 13-second car just like scooting past them like sit still. I mean, looked like they threw the anchor out,
Yep. They're like, what the hell?
And it's now all those guys have Mustangs.
Oh, see what you did? You did that. That was your fault.
And then, of course, now I put the Chevrolet motor in my Mustang. So I'm the bad guy again. No,
nice. Well, hey, you're pushing the envelope. That's the idea. So what about some other old stuff? So you said your dad had a 46, right? When you were
46 Ford sedan.
Yep. And then so what's some of the stuff that you guys had, throughout the years?
So we've had that. Then when I turned, I believe I was 15, I went and bought a 1950 F1 pickup. I still have it. It's like the 10-year project thing. It's a big block Ford C6, coil over rear. Like, it's stupid how much money we put into it back then to never finish it now. But then we started drag racing.
You were like, park that one over there.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool when it's done. I just, I like messing with the Mustangs.
Yeah.
So we did his car for a while. I messed my truck for a little bit. Then we got into Mustangs. I took a little bit of time off and rode Harleys for a little bit. Dude, he bought a brand new Harley in 1980. He still has it.
Oh, that's cool.
So we did that. Then, I mean, really, as far as my projects, it's always just Mustangs. I've had I think I've had like 14 of them.
Dang, dude, that's a bunch. You should be like a Red Hat Mustang, Scotty.
So that's actually funny. Growing up, from the time I was like 16 till my parents moved a couple years ago, everybody knew our house because of the Mustangs that sat out front. Like, oh, hey,
Nice.
it's Scotty's house. And then, and people I didn't even know were like, yeah, I know where you live. I can swing by later. I'm like, how do I live?
Right? How do you know where I am? That's awesome. Dirty Panda here saying that he has an 84, or he had an 10-second 84 Celica GTS in high school.
Nice.
And then 815 LS Sex Swaps is saying LS are meant for Fox bodies.
Yes, they are.
Yep. Yeah, it's like the perfect width. I mean, everything,
Dude.
I mean, they came with a push rod V8. It just makes sense it would fit,
Dude, so that was the thing too. So playing with all these Mustangs, the whole Ford stuff for years. I don't mind Ford motors. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They're decent, but the problem for me was every time I heard it, it was always expensive, and I had to wait on parts, or trying to find parts for it was just a pain in the butt.
Yep.
So then we just did that first LS swap on my, the coupe I have now. And I mean, it's been downhill since then. That was like the greatest thing I've ever done. They're so easy to work on.
Yep.
I can go to pick and pull on any random Saturday and pull 3 of them in an afternoon.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing. So Dirty Panda says a stock Coyote and a gutted Fox will run a 9, but like, good luck fitting that thing in there easily.
Right.
Now I know they've got swap kits and they get in there, and I've seen a couple Coyotes in them and they look nice, but no thanks.
So I get asked that a lot too with the LS Coyote thing back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
They always ask me, hey, when are you gonna build another Ford? And I always say, when I can go to the junkyard and buy a Coyote for less than $500.
Yeah.
The day I can do that, I will build a Coyote and I'll put it in something.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, here's the reality. The Coyote was going to be the future. Like that dual overhead cam, super high efficiency type setup. I mean, like that motor works. It works well with boost. It works well, stock cam cars are going super fast, but it's just expensive. There's not a ton of you can't call Holly and for $1,000 have a complete setup to drop a Coyote in something.
Yeah, that's Holly really needs to get on one of those Terminator kits or whatever to do the Coyote stuff. I don't care what add-ons they got to do, but they need to make one of those packages, and I think we'll see a lot more of those coming real soon. Yep.
And then the trans that comes in, that would come behind that in a pickup or something like that, they're great trans. I mean, there's like a converter only car is going fast. You can throw a converter in that trans and not worry about anything.
The NMRA Coyote stock stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are flying. And I mean, they're, stock sealed units with a sealed, ECU.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. It's crazy. So see, David Maxon says Red Hat Keaton Maxon was pretty much the only kid at GVHS. I guess that's his high school. Oh, with a fast, cool car. It's already tore apart, getting ready for race week next year. Nice.
Oh, I'm sure when they took theirs out, I'm sure they were first timers for 1.0 this year, and I'm sure they probably learned a couple things.
Oh yeah. I can't wait. We added a turbo and nitrous to the cart, hoping for some 13-second passes for 2.0 this year.
Nice.
So yeah, and just more in your face type stuff.
That's going to be exciting to see. I'm going to have to be up there on the starting line for that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. We've got the nitrous is really like a purge kit, basically. I mean, it's really set in front of the turbo to spray into the turbo. So at night when the air cools down, it's going to look awesome.
Right.
And my hope is that being on the button when I move into second gear for burnouts, it'll let it just keep going instead of lugging so bad. So,
right.
Yeah, it's about burnouts. That's all that car is good for. It's not going to be fast.
No, I bet that thing's a blast making a pass though.
Oh, it's awesome. Just waving at people. You got all the time in the world. It's like 14.8 is our best pass ever. And you just wave at people going down there like, this car's boring to watch. So I always try to do big burnouts for everybody. So
Right. That's what it's about, really.
Yep. Burnouts and dumb stuff, so hopefully this year we can, with the purge and, all that kind of stuff, it'll be a good time. All right, let's get into some drag stuff, drag and drive events, because that's what obviously Rocky Mountain Race Week is. So you've been on a bunch, but my question is, so kind of tell folks what you've been on. I've got to go get a beer. What you've been on, and then your favorite one so far.
Oh, so we started all this stuff 2014. We showed up to Tulsa to watch, and it really kicked the ball off for us on how the event works, what's going on, the people and everything. We ended up hanging around way later in the day, and we ended up leaving. And we followed a couple local friends of ours, my buddy Chris Penny and Jay Wolf, when they had the 93 Cobra out there that year. And thanks to those two guys, I learned a ton on what to do and what not to do. Number one, don't put a 5-gallon fuel cell in your car and expect to drive very far.
Hey, that's the truth right there.
Oh my golly. We pulled over so many times. Then also there was an issue with the fan, and back and forth. I'm trying to figure out how to make that work, pull the hood off, stop, all kind. How long did it take us to get from Tulsa to Topeka that time, dude?
4 o'clock till 7 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 a.m., Tulsa to Topeka.
That's like a 4.5 hour, 5 hour trip, right? Typically, if you were in a regular car. Yeah. So one thing that was hard for me to get used to was the 50 to 60 mile range a lot of the cars had. I was like, oh my God, we're stopping again. But it was perfect.
We stopped every 40 minutes. 40 miles. 40 miles? 40 miles. Every 40 miles we stopped. We would literally be driving up the road and the car would run out of gas and we wouldn't even pull over. We would just put gas in because there's nobody around.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then take off running again.
Yep.
So
that's crazy.
That was 14. So we learned a lot then. Then we got the the great idea to try it ourselves in 2015. So this was when my, the Race Week car that everybody knows me for now. This is when it started. It was 2015. We did a complete stock 5.3.
Nice.
Cam, exhaust manifolds. It was on a car intake, stock glide, stock converter. And we got the car done 2 days before we were supposed to leave. I was cutting the ends of lug nuts off at 2 a.m. in front of my house so I could make sure my slicks would fit on the car.
Oh my God.
Then so I had enough PTO or vacation at work for the week minus 1 hour.
Oh,
I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and go into work until 6.
Oh,
just so I wouldn't get docked.
Oh,
and so I get back home from work. We got everything loaded and we go to leave. And this is probably my favorite picture ever of any of these events is when we're leaving, is because I'm sitting in the car in the driver's seat and I'm just ready to pass out, doing the selfie, and dude's over here and he has the biggest grin on his face. He is just loving life.
Yes.
It was the polar opposite.
That's awesome.
Probably my favorite picture.
That's awesome.
And so we left, and I, no joke, had 30 miles on the car. And we're driving from, right outside Kansas City to St. Louis, and it's roughly 4 hours over there. Pulling, we were pulling one of those big, huge U-Haul trailers. Nice.
Yeah. The 4x8 trailer that's like a square that's made to haul couches.
Yeah. And so that's how we started. And we rolled in. It was funny too. So like I said, let's say we just put it together. have no idea what's going to happen. My buddy Just Tune out here, he tuned it in a parking lot. He didn't even drive the car.
Nice. Just wheeled up. He's like, hey, yeah, throw this in, go.
Yeah, so he tuned it, and he told me, he's like, yeah, go drive around, call me back in a day or two, and we'll look at it again. A day or two?
Yeah, I'm out, bro.
Before drag week?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. So we left, and we left on this tune, and at the time it was on a stock computer, and we made it to St. Louis. Everything was good. We get teched in, get our banner, and everything was great until we started the car and started smoking.
Oh, no.
So made it to the hotel, and luckily it was just valve cover gasket. Something happened. It's totally silly. But, of course, we're freaking out. We're 4 hours from home with a car that we drove. You know, first time doing it. So then we actually finished. We started and finished. The car ran like low 13s all week, which I was super impressed by.
Yeah.
And so we finished that one. Then now, so here's the kicker. Now down there at the bottom, guys, it does say 6th time. 2016, the car did not make it to registration. We tried. We were going to Ohio, Columbus, Ohio that year. And we made it to right outside St. Louis, and it ate a tranny. We were driving.
Nice.
So we got another real good friend of ours back here. He came up with his truck and trailer, and then we actually had to call my mom to get the dude's truck to get the little trailer.
Nice.
So they came, rescued us. Now, this is the part, this is dedication. I mean, this is to show that I'm about these events. We waited the almost 4 hours for them to show up to get us. We made it back to my house, unloaded the truck and the trailer. The dude went and unloaded the little trailer and got his Focus.
Yes.
Up, and what time did we leave here?
1 o'clock in the morning.
We left right outside Kansas City at 1 a.m. and we made it to registration with like 45 minutes to spare.
15.
That's awesome.
Oh, correction. The dude says 15 minutes to spare.
That's awesome.
So then I went ahead and gave up my spot. We didn't, we weren't going to race the Focus, but we followed the entire thing. We stuck to the route 110%, and we showed up every day, and we were there from the moment the track opened till the last guy made a pass, because we promised each other that we were going to do it for everybody else.
Yep. Well, and like here's the thing. Like, you already have the time off. Like, why not go? Like, you going to sit at home and pout, or you going to go do something,
Yeah, and it was great. And that year, man, we met a ton of great people. And I don't think Vinny hasn't done a Rocky Mountain. But so this is my drag week days. Don't judge me, guys. We met a ton of people, man. Real good friend of mine now, Vinny Barbone I believe he's out of Salem, Ohio. He's got the Sam Squatch, the little geo tracker.
Nice.
And so we met him, and that was the first year with him having that thing out. And the Australians, we met them. Oh, did we meet them on 15? That was 15.
We met in 15.
Yeah. So Harry Haig and those guys with the Aussie Chevelle.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
If you ever get the chance to hang around them, please do, because they are the most fun you could ever be around.
That's awesome. Those dudes just go different, man. They just have a whole different aspect on life. I love it.
Dude, so when we met them in 15, and so we'll kind of bounce a little bit there, Narcs, because I so many stories, they just run back and forth.
I'm in.
But so, my guy's got Miller Lite.
Hey, that's the best beer ever. And sweetpatina.com's keeping us cold today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
It's a magnetic koozie. It's the best thing I've ever had. I don't know how, but Miller Lite is fresher in the Sweet Patina koozie.
Right? I love it.
Anyways.
So the Australians, man, these guys, we go to take out of the track, and if you've ever read any directions, I don't care if you're doing drag week, race week, The Summit drag one, probably your guys' series. The directions.
Yep.
are
Suck.
terrible.
Yes.
Terrible. No, and no
Yes.
offense to anybody that writes them.
No, listen. I've written them, and all right. Here's a funny story. I'm just going to derail this 1 second.
Yeah, man.
I literally I was leading a convoy of 10 cars, somehow screwed up my own directions. I had written and driven the route and screwed it up. So yeah, I get it.
Yes. Yeah, like man,
Yep.
So it was great. So we pull out and we pulled over and we're trying to read it. And me and the dude, we're going back and forth, like, what do we do? What turn where? And here comes a Chevelle behind us. And at this point, it was when it was stock, it was running like 14s or something, 15s, and so they roll up and now I hop out of the car. Harry gets out and I might, Then the passenger door opens and all of a sudden there is an entire case of Corona bottles that roll out of the car. And I don't mean the box,
like just
literally bottles.
Nice.
And so Pyro and Brett Ford get out and they're like, hey, mate, where do we go? I'm like, I have no idea, man. They're like, hey, we ain't got GPS. We don't know what's going on. I'm like,
us either. Let's roll.
Neither one of us had gas gauges,
Oh yeah.
Which that'll play into later. So on the RMRW's page, you guys seen We Can Laugh at how many times I ran out of gas.
Nice.
Multiple times during the week. Was that 15 we did that? Yeah, that was. So once again,
so the question is, do you at least have an odometer so you can kind of gauge how far you've driven?
Cell phone.
Yep. Yeah. Well, hang up. You can never use your cell phone because like you're texting, you're driving, you're answering messages, looking at Facebook, taking pictures of cars.
So yeah, that's like the dude. I have to get the dude in on the camera here in a minute too, because he's sitting next to me. I don't go anywhere without the dude.
That's awesome.
All the time. If you see me, you see him.
That's cool.
He's a little camera shy apparently. But,
yeah.
He pointed out this guy has road maps 24/7. He always buys a brand new atlas every year, just so we have something if phones die or anything else. But so with the navigation, he got really good at figuring out gas mileage. He's like, I literally say, hey, how we doing? We got 10 miles, we got 20 miles, whatever. We always know. And so 15, this is one of my top 5 favorite stories of running out of gas. So if you've ever been to St. Louis, one of the real nice places to stay would be Collinsville, Illinois. There's lines of hotels. There's like 3 of them just right off the deal. And that's where everybody was staying. So we're rolling through. It's late in the day, the last day. We made it back to St. Louis. And I'm like, hey, dude, how we doing on gas? He's like, we can make it to the hotel. I'm like, all right, man, that's all I need to know. So we roll into St. Louis and we hit the hill coming down where the hotels are and turn left to go to the hotel. Right? Nope, we did not, because everybody was lined up, lawn chairs, hanging out. And so I look at him, he looks at me, he goes, just roll on through there, man. Everybody's clapping, cheering. You made it. We're like, hey, how you doing? We make it around the corner out of eyesight from everybody and ran out of gas.
Oh, damn.
We can literally see the hotel. And we ran out. Luckily, I could look around and nobody can see us.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I looked over at him. He looks at me. He goes, we would have made it to the hotel.
Yeah, if we hadn't been cruising by, revving up, waving at people. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. So you guys did 1.0 this year, right?
No. So 1.0 this year, my daughter's birthday is June 15th. My 9-year-old McKenna.
Yep.
Hi, McKenna. I know you're going to want to see this later. I love you, Betty. And so we didn't do it because of her birthday. We've left town on her birthday before. She came a couple days when we did it a few years ago. And then I told her this year that I wasn't going to do it. I'll be there for your birthday. We're going to do something, especially, the whole 2020,
Oh yeah.
all that.
Kids being home. Yep.
So what we ended up doing for 1.0 was we actually went to day one.
Oh, cool.
Like I said, I love this event. I love everybody that does it. And so we went to support, and everybody was glad to see me, but they were also kind of upset that I didn't have the car.
Yeah. So here, crazy story. The cart has been flawless every time I've ever asked it to start. It started, right? Okay. 2 days before 1.0, like we weren't going, but I was going to do the same thing. Like day one, it's because we didn't make it to Great Bend for 2.0 last year because we were saving Stone Cypher. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to Great Bend so I can at least see it. Right. And hang out with everybody and all that kind of stuff. Like 2 or 3 days before, the car dies in my driveway, like turns off, will not start back. I'm like, okay, that's weird. 2 hours later, starts back. I'm like, okay, no problem. So that was Thursday. Friday, it was kind of hit or miss. It was bumbling at a stoplight and kind of things like that. And I have 2 fuel pumps in it. So I was like, okay, maybe the secondary pump is taking a shit. Nope, it was the number 1 pump. And apparently in a Grand Marquis, if your primary fuel pump is not pumping, it won't do anything. So I'm like working on it, trying to figure out, I'm changing relays and everything. Ended up Friday night till like 2:00 in the morning working on it, trying to get, and I got it to where I could start it about 1 every 10 times. And I was like, man, I just can't take the chance, because once I started it, it was running on the second pump. It was fine. But like, I was like, man, I can't take that chance and be, Great Bend is like 6 hours from me. I was like, I can't be halfway to Great Bend and call the wife and be like, come save me,
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So ended up not going, figured it out like Saturday morning at 10 a.m. It was the plug for the primary pump was not all the way. It had like worked itself out, and the piece had like, I don't know, worked itself down so it wouldn't sit down. So I hot glued that sumbitch together, and it's good. Zip ties. It's good to go now. But
now, so actually, let's touch on that, man. So let's talk about the Narx cart, because that thing's cool.
Oh, hey, listen, if everybody needs to build a car they don't care about at some point in their life.
That's my graduate car.
Yeah, right. Like I just beat on that car all the time, start it up, put it on the limiter, right? I mean, like fuel oil pressure. What are you talking about? Oil pressure. Just, see if we can get a flame out of the turbo. So anyways, we have a YouTube channel, which a lot of folks are on. We certainly appreciate all of our followers and everybody that comments and likes videos. Love you guys. Like this one if you haven't yet. You got to jab that in there. So really the cart started because I wanted something dumb, right? Okay. But we wanted to do a giveaway car because I thought it would be fun if I could build a lot of content around it, and then give it to somebody to enjoy. Okay. Makes sense. I also have never built roll cages. My brother's built several. He's good at that kind of stuff. I'm not. I'm like, well, if I'm going to learn to bend tube and stuff, I might as well do it on this dumb car. So, it had to be full frame car. It had to be V8, and it had to be rear wheel drive. Well, it leaves you with a Caprice or a Grand Marquis. And so that's what we ended up with. I bought it from an 80-year-old man that had never, ever smoked in it. He was a second owner from like 30,000 miles. It had 93 on it when we bought it. And we drove it home and cut the roof off of it. I mean, it was great. So he almost cried when we told him what we were going to do with it. But
right,
it's the best $900 I've ever spent.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so we've got like Cobra injectors on it, like a GT45 turbo. And it's funny, if you've ever been under one of those cars, there's no way to flip, because this is another reason the LS is far superior to the Ford stuff. You can take a manifold and just go bloop, and now suddenly you have a turbo setup,
Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff in the way when you do the 4.6 movement. Right?
Well, you can't. Like the bolt holes are different, so you can't just flip a manifold.
Really? Okay, so I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I didn't either when I went into the turbo idea. Okay, I thought, man, surely everybody's smart. They all did this. Nope, stupid motherfuckers. So the exhaust, I guarantee you, it's 18 feet long. It comes out of the head, down through catalytic converters to a factory Y pipe that's 2 inches. The exhaust is 2 inches. And then 180s, like instantly goes from 2-inch to 2.5, because that's what I had. Into a 180 all the way, and this is like at 180s on the passenger side, because I only had a 45-degree pipe to make the bend over to the turbo. So at 180s all the way back up past the front suspension, 45 degrees, and then a 90 up into the turbo. Literally no boost till about halfway through second gear. So yeah.
Oh man, when I catch up with you here soon,
Yeah. Oh, dude,
climbing under that thing and I'm checking it out.
It's really gonna blow your mind, the shittiness of the way it works. But again, you're driving down the road. There's a GT45 turbo that's like literally at the radiator up top with a stack on it, tractor flaps. Kids love it. You know what I mean? We pass them. What's great is like, if someone is passing you, like this, and they're coming up on you, and you see the kids in the back window, they're like, oh my God, they're up against the glass. Oh, this is so cool. And then they see the turbo, they see the nitrous bottle in the back seat first. And then they see the turbo and they're like, that's the coolest car I've ever seen in my entire life. So, and that's the whole goal. And so literally, I'm building the trailer for it for race week. And we're just going to do trailer burnouts everywhere. I'm bringing 4 tires. So we're just going to annihilate tires everywhere. So
I support this message.
Yes. So Dirty Panda says it's such an awesome car. What's funny is like, I needed to learn to bend tube. And so I had these wild ideas of like, okay, I want to come down. And are you doing 2.0?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you'll get a chance to look at it. But like the rear seats, my daughters they're like, we want bars back here. We want something back here cool looking. And so I started like mapping out how this bar was going to have to go. And there's like 6 bends in the one bar that is, so it's not one bar anymore. I had to cut chunks out of it so it would fit. So it's pretty awesome. You'll have a good time. You'll laugh. Don't look too close at the welds. All the good welds, my brother did. All the bad welds, I did.
Hey, if you want to go back and forth on welds, man, come look at my turbo kit.
Yep.
That's the one part about my car. So when I did the turbo kit, I kind of just started learning to weld. Like I'd welded a little bit before, but never built anything. And so I've got some pretty questionable things on my turbo kit. The one bend off my header is literally like,
oh yeah,
it's pretty tight. It loops back. But hey, it works. I mean, I've been 1020s on it, so.
Well, and that's so it's funny, and we're going to dive off a little bit here for a second, but everybody, like we built the hot side, and cold side for my old truck, which is, the 4.8 and stuff like that. And guys will look at it at shows or cruise days or what, I went to a small cars and coffee, 20 cars the other day. As I'm coming up on it, I just lay this 150 foot, burnout in second gear limiter, all this shit, and I pull in the parking lot and it's smoke. Dude, it's a 220,000 mile motor that's seen 20 plus pounds of boost, a whole bunch. So it's smoking. This old guy comes up, this super clean Camaro, and he's like, man, you were smoking a little bit there. I was like, well, fuck yeah, there's a big ass cam and wore out engine. What do you think's going to happen? You know what I mean? And so when I left him a bigger, longer one, just because and the young guys were like, dude, this thing is badass. I'm like, yeah, I built it. People can build shit like this if you don't care what people think.
Dude, exactly. That's the best point we can touch on the whole podcast right now. I tell everybody, man, just build something.
Yeah.
Mr. Freiberger himself, he says it doesn't have to be right. It just has to work.
Yeah. Yep. Not right, just running.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
And that's the key is it doesn't everybody don't get caught up in what somebody else has to say, man. If you built it and you have fun, you won.
Well, so we'll hit on this for just a second, but a buddy of mine spends all the money on all the right parts, all the stuff, building the car right the first time, all this shit. That car is like a 3-year build. Dude, I've been beating the hell out of mine for 2 years. Like, bro, finish that son bitch. Let's go do some burnouts.
So exactly. So that's why we have the race week Mustang we have. Is my black car, I spent a bunch of money and bought a bunch of nice parts, did it right, this, that. But it got to the point for us where it wasn't fun. Yeah. Because anytime you heard something, it was expensive. It was a month out, this and that. So when we built this car, we pretty much didn't care. Yeah. We just wanted to build something to go have fun in. And we've had a blast just bombing around towns, hitting tracks. I mean, I take this thing to any event. I mean, I went to the Outlaw Armageddon, the largest no prep, deal. Yeah. I went 2 rounds.
That's car. Awesome. Yeah.
I mean, literally, I had tons of people coming over like, oh, hey, I got something similar to this and that. And I'm like, dude, where is it? Let's go check it out. And they're like, oh, it's in my garage. Yeah. Oh, I didn't bring it. What are you talking about? Bring it out, dude. If you go out first round, you just get to drink beer earlier.
Yeah. So we had a buddy of mine from Northeast Arkansas, tons of street racing done over there too by Memphis, all that stuff. And so he was like, man, let's enter your truck in like daily driver class. He's like, you're going to lose, but we'll be down in the middle of everybody. He's like, you'll be like in the pits, I'm like, oh, it's a great idea. So I think we're doing Outlaw again, or not again, but I think we're going to do Outlaw Armageddon. So
that was the whole reason that we took the car.
Yeah.
We went a couple years ago just to watch. And I mean, it's cool. I love that event. If you guys are into no prep stuff, go down there. There's a ton of cars, tons of action. So much fun. And I have to touch on the dollar bets in a minute too. So being down there in the pits among all those people, I mean, great people all the way around. And being in the middle of it is worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
Now, so with that too, the dollar bet thing, I love doing this at Outlaw Armageddon, is there's so many people on the starting line, you can't see the cars. So, if me and you are sitting on the hill, I'm like, hey, Narx, man, pick a lane, throw $1. You have no idea who's coming up.
Oh, nice.
And so we'll sit there and we'll trade dollar bills all night long. And we'll just sit there and laugh, have fun, make fun of each other. Oh, I got you on that one. And then
nice. I'm in. I'm in on some dollar bets. That's like pitching quarters, right? That's like,
oh, dude, the dollar bets is so it's funny. So there was a bunch of guys one year we were down there, and they were betting, 10, 20, $40 on races. And so I'm like, hey man, shoot me $1 on the left lane. He goes, well, you don't know who that is. I go, yeah, you don't know who's in the right lane. So he ended up betting against himself numerous times. By the end of the night, he was had every dollar bill in his wallet, and that ended up being the deal. It was so much fun.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. So, oh God, where were we? We were talking about race week, and then we said, I knew you were going to be like this. I knew it. I knew we were going to squirrel some shit here.
Yeah, man, dude, that's me, dude. I love talking about racing. I love doing the stuff. I love getting with good company and just having a blast. So I think if we want to get back on track,
okay.
We did we did 15 and we touched on 16 where we took the Focus, met a bunch of people. Then 17, if we want to get back into it. So
yeah, I'm in. Yeah.
Drag Week 2017, we originally had a 5.3 nitrous setup, and then this was right when the nitrous explosion, nitrous shortage happened. And I bought a nitrous kit from Nitrous Outlet. They were with us, they're Rocky Mountain sponsor. Dave Vassar, awesome dude, super cool guy, love his products. But we had a shortage, Dave. I'm sorry, I went turbo. Please don't hate me. So we ended up building a 6-liter. It was a stock bottom end 6-liter, the VS Racing 7875, and we had the sloppy stage 2 cam in it. Got it running, and we took out for 17, and we made it. We got registered, and then the first pass, my boost controller just went completely psycho on me, and that thing like it over boosted super bad. Luckily, Just Tune, the guy that was tuning the car, he was smart enough to like have all the safety set up. So
Nice.
you know, I'd seen the boost and it hit hard. I got out of it, and you know, made the pass. I get back and I'm looking at everything. I cannot figure it out for the life of me. Not for sure what happened. So I was like, all right, we're here. We're still going to run.
Yeah.
I just turned the boost controller off, just ran on gate. And we made it through. I don't think that was the year that the muffler fell off. Yeah, it actually didn't fall off. Let me correct real quick, but it came really, really close. And actually, there's a picture of that. Oh no, that was later in the week before. So we made the first day, and then the first drive, we noticed. So we got smart after 16. We put a transmission temp gauge.
Oh yeah.
Which I recommend, guys. Definitely put a transmission temp gauge in your car. If you have any other gauge, just that one.
You mean so the only gauge I have in the old truck is a boost gauge.
Get a train temp gauge.
Yep, that's the next one then. All right.
So what ended up happening, I had a fan on a train cooler underneath the spare tire well. I'd run a fuel cell in the car. And so that was back there. Well, the exhaust ran all the way down, and we were thinking that the hot exhaust was blowing up into the train cooler. Well, it never actually got like nuclear hot, but it would never settle. It just kept rising. So we pulled over in a Farm King parking lot, and I had bought a training cooler, and I had enough in line. So now my car has two training coolers, one in the front, one in the rear.
Nice.
And then actually, PJ Nadeau, man, our Canadian guys, he's got a good picture of me driving by with the exhaust hanging on the trailer.
Yes. That's awesome.
We did that. Another one of the good roadside repairs was when we pulled over in O'Reilly's parking lot, and there was a few guys, grandpa with the Buick, or not the Buick, the wagon, Falcon wagon, Grandpa Ross and Addie, they were in there. Dan Roberts when he had his Malibu was in there. So we pulled in, talking to everybody. Jeremy Scallion with the Nardo Gray Camaro was up there. We pulled in, talking to everybody, and I looked at the dude. I'm like, hey man, like I got something I got to fix. You know, he's like, well, what's that? We don't have rear speakers. So I went into the O'Reilly's there and bought the cheapest speakers they had, and I wired them up.
Nice.
And so then when that happened too, this was cool. So then 17, that was when Mr. Finnegan had Blasphemy out. And he's just bombing right in front of this O'Reilly's, and he just locks him up, makes a hard ass U-turn and pulls in, and he's hanging out with us, and we're telling him about the car, and he's like, what are you working on back here? I'm like, dude, I need speakers.
He's like, oh yeah, he's a good dude. Like, what's crazy about those guys, him and David Newbern and Mike Cotton, like you can tell, like fame just happened to them. They would be those dudes if they weren't famous.
Dude, he is that dude. He is so down to earth, so cool.
Yep.
Like when you see him on TV, he's that guy in person.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%.
Yep. Yeah, it's really neat. So his folks owned a gas station that's like outside of town here, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And so what's funny is like my grandmother lives just past that gas station, right? So like literally we were in there a bunch as like adults, and then, you know, my younger cousins were in there a ton of times while his parents owned it. So it's pretty cool, you know, like, and so now obviously it's changed hands, and I need to get back out there and do some like really big burnouts. But my brother had a motorcycle wreck right in front of it while it was Finnegan's. So yeah, he just broke his wrist. It was fine.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, he was on my motorcycle, the fucker. But hey, it worked out. It worked out. Should have kept that bike. Anyways.
So which speaking on the speakers and the music thing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge music guy too. I mean, I listen to all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
And actually, I made sure, got.
Hey, there you go.
So, you guys will notice if you see me out 9 times out of 10, if I'm at a car event, I have a music shirt on. If we go to a concert, I have a car shirt on.
Nice.
That's like my own weird superstitional thing,
Yep. Well, like, here's the thing. Like, if you're going to a concert, you either have to wear that band shirt, like, or you've got to wear like something completely off the wall.
See, so like if I go to a show, I'll never wear that band shirt to the show.
Nice.
I'll wear, I may wear like somebody they've toured with in the past or something else, but it's like a weird thing for me. Like I'll never wear that band shirt.
Hey,
sure, but
yeah. Well, you got to have that for later.
Yeah. Right.
You got to have that tote of shirts. Like when you're 60, you'll be like, "Oh my God, look at this thing!" And it'll be brand.
I mean, that's now, dude. My wife hates how many shirts I have.
Yep. Let me guess. They're all black or dark gray. Yeah. It's real easy. I have gray shorts that I wear every day and a black car t-shirt. That's what I wear to work every day. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, I wear blue jeans and whatever black shirt I have. Which actually today though, I went outside black and I had on the new, give them a little plug, the Motion Raceworks blue Back to the Future shirt.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I may have to pick up some of those. That's awesome.
Some cool shirts, man.
Yeah.
Doug and them guys at Motion, they've got some cool stuff.
Yep. Yeah, they are awesome. So we were at Cletus and Cars, and Doug recognized me from the cart, and my brother was like, "Wow." I was like, "That was pretty cool."
Yeah, dude. That Doug, Andy, Garrett, all them guys, man, super awesome dudes. And dude, I was super happy for Garrett when he bought into that.
Yeah,
dude, that was super cool.
Yep, I'm really excited to see, because like Garrett is very, very smart. Like his social media and his, his business, all his brain power that goes into that stuff is really good. Like he wouldn't be where he was if he was just some dude doing dumb stuff. I mean, or I'd be famous,
Right.
But he's got it figured out, and that's a huge plus. That's awesome. Okay, so you were Drag Week 2017. You're putting speakers in, Mike Finnegan, before I completely off-railed us here. Sorry.
Can you imagine all the people listening to us right now and just the oddball curves we keep going on?
Dude, I hope they're having beers too.
I hope they are too, man.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. You guys go ahead and take a sip, man.
Yeah. Just wait
with us.
Yeah, just wait until we get in person together and we're doing this.
Right.
at 11:30 at night.
Doing a nice good old live stream side by side.
Oh yeah, that's what's going to happen. I'm telling you, I'm going to go live all the time on Race Week this year. So,
all right. So for everybody listening, we'll come back to the story.
Yeah.
Before we shoot off again.
Yeah. Squirrel.
So we get the speakers in the car in 17, and we're cruising, and we, for the most part, I think that was pretty chill that year. Nothing major happened. We made it back to Cordova. I want to say we started and finished Cordova. You do some of these things, they run together. Oh yeah, we'll have to touch on that too. So we made it back to Cordova, and I had been playing with the boost controller off and on during the week, and we found an E85 station. So I put E85 in the car, and I was kind of playing the boost controller. I'd kind of figured it out, and we made the best pass the card ran at that time, a 1054. And so we picked up like 6 seconds or six tenths rather. Excuse me. And like everybody was like, did the clock mess up? Like what happened? That card ran like 11 teens all week. And so we were super ecstatic for that.
Yeah. Dude, that's a huge gain.
Dude, it was, for no more than what I did, just putting the 85 and turning up some timing. I think the boost stayed fairly level because the boost controller was all whacked out. But
Yeah.
so the dude made mention of Cordova. So I work at O'Reilly's part-time, and we stopped. That was when we bought the training cooler that we put in the Farm King parking lot. First day, and we went into this O'Reilly's, and apparently they had no idea that this event was rolling through their little town.
What?
They got hammered. So I went in there and I got my training cooler, and I'm watching these two guys work, and they are just getting it, broke off in them. I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And so I ended up helping these. Like, I got behind the counter and was
Yes.
like, okay, yeah, you need that. And I would, okay, aisle 2, 3/4 of the way down, left hand side.
That's awesome.
For like almost an hour.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. That's so a buddy of mine runs the O'Reilly down the street. So yeah, I do those guys anymore. We walk in, especially my little brother, he'll walk in and he'll be like, they'll just turn the computer around. Here you go.
Yeah.
You know what you're looking for.
That's usually my lead off when I walk into O'Reilly's that's not mine. Is I'm like, hey man, I work at the store, over here. Can I just see that?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they're super cool. And they're like, yeah, bro. And I'm like just whacking away on the computer. And they're like, how? I didn't know we could do that.
You're like, yep.
You work here. Like, how do you not know this?
Yep. They're like, well, we're used to ordering, alternators for 2005 Dodge Grand Caravans.
Yeah, that was funny too. So this old farmer comes in. He's looking for a part for a tractor, like an 8N tractor.
Oh shit!
The two guys behind the counter are like looking at each other, like, man, what the hell is that? So I just, hey, I get on there and I look up. I think I looked up like a '64 Ford Falcon and found the part that he needed. He took it out of the box and looked at it, and he's like, how the hell did you know that?
That's cool. You're like, it was an educated guess, but pretty close to right.
I spend a little bit of time behind that computer. I figured out a lot of stuff on, what you can mix and match, I guess.
Yep. Well, and I mean, dude, like that's what made Ford, all the interchangeability, all the same parts, starter solenoids, all that kind of stuff.
Dude, so the whole Ford thing, like Ford would have little runs, like a few years of stuff, but they would end up changing it so much.
Yeah, see, that's
what I love about the Chevrolets in general.
Yeah.
I mean, your old small block Chevy was the same, for almost 30 years.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, probably more than that. I mean, until, so yeah, because like Vortec heads is really what changed the intake compatibility, or just being able to swap heads. So
right.
Yeah. And then, I mean, hell, now LS stuff, god dang, dude.
Exactly. With the coming in of the LS motor, I mean, your water pumps are all compatible. Your 4.8, 5.3, 5.7, 6.0, 6.2. It's all, you can make it all work.
Yep.
As long as you have the right balancer.
Well, and the good thing about the LS stuff is like, especially like what you're in right now, where you have a few project cars, you have a few parts, you end up with like I've got a rack of intake manifolds, a rack of injectors, racks of exhaust manifold, oil pans. You just end up with all this kind of stuff, and it's all swappable. And heads, I mean, we got heads too, but
oh my god, I think I just short count on heads. I think I have like 10 pairs of cylinder heads.
That's awesome.
I've got 5 short blocks.
Yep.
And then, I mean, who knows how many other. I've got oil pans. I've got so many LS stuff right now. I mean, literally, and a bunch of people that are from my area, they know if they need an LS part, some random piece or whatever, they can call me.
Yep.
I probably have it.
Yep. That's exactly right. All right. So did you do an event in 18?
So, yes, we did do. Let's see. 18 was that was
That was the Rocky Mountain one.
That was, yeah. So in 18 was the Rocky Mountain, un-Rocky Mountain, where we were in the Midwest.
Yep.
And so, can you flip on that overhead real quick?
Overhead what?
No red light.
Oh, what do you mean?
On the wall. It's great to have the dude around. He helps with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
my wife a while ago, I walked to the refrigerator. She's like, I would have got you a beer. I was like, oh, okay. I'll remember that.
now you can
There
see
we go.
much better.
Hey, turn it off. It's okay.
Yeah. And now you can actually see my hats I got back here, man.
Yeah.
Got to display those guys.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
So 18. That was when we went through the Midwest on that one. That one was fun. That actually tried me pretty hard over a bunch of small dumb stuff. We built the trailer and it had been flawless the year before. I mean, it was legit. I mean, it was perfect. And then we changed a few things on it, and that trailer beat the crap out of us. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times that we had to fix or do something to the trailer.
Dang, that's crazy.
And so then we had those issues. Then we were coming back from Topeka, Kansas, and my mom, my sister, my daughters, and everybody else, they met us in a little small town not too far from where we are, Harrisonville, and we unloaded stuff out of our trailer.
Get this out of here.
Just beating us to death, and it was so stupid. Then we left. Yeah, that was before we figured out the spring spacers. Well, I touch on that too because that's a major saver. I changed the lower control arms before we left, and that was a bad idea. It's terrible. And we had way too much weight in the trailer, which we didn't because we did just fine the year before with the same stuff. Then, so that deal happened, and we made it right outside Springfield, and we're cruising, and I'm watching my gauges and everything, and it started running funny and acting a little weird. And the pulled over, wastegate fell off.
Just fell off. It's like, nope.
Yeah, it just said no more.
Nice.
Luckily, the vacuum line held it in place, and it was dangling. It never hit the ground, but it was dangling. And we pulled over, and we had a couple guys that were rolling with us, and we found a Mountain Dew can in the middle of the highway.
Yeah.
Put it up with my pocket knife, and we like basically kind of sealed the open hole in the turbo kit. And I mean, this was late. This was probably midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And we're still probably 45 minutes from our hotel.
Oh, nice.
So we rolled in, and I'm driving, and I'm trying to get a hold of Blake Hughes at 417 Motorsports.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they were going to have an open house and feed everybody the next day. So I'm like, hey, Blake, I need some help. And he got a hold of me the next morning. It was like, dude, bring it on down. Like, no problem.
That's awesome.
Cody over there, dude, Cody's a lifesaver, man. He actually probably the nicest welds on my turbo kit is from 417 Motorsports. You know,
nice. You almost feel bad they're having to like weld stuff on you're like, hey, don't mind that right there. Yeah. They're like, dude, I'm gonna have to cut all this off. Dude, they're like, hang on, it's no big deal. Let me just whip up this whole new pipe for this thing.
Dude, so that they cleaned off all my booger welds on there, and they made a little saddle that sits over the hole and then holds the wastegate on now. And Cody gets over and gets the TIG out. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, man, you can totally just, get the MIG and just hot glue that thing back together.
Yes.
He kind of gave me this look like,
that's not what I'm going to do here.
And so, dude, and it's held perfect ever since.
That's awesome.
Legit. So that happened. Then the next, it was that same day we went to the track down there in Ozark, and it was like 1,000 degrees down there. Like, it was so bad that day.
And there's no breeze at that track.
Oh,
anywhere ever.
It was so bad. So I put the car in the lanes, went to make a pass, and left. It left incredibly lazy. Didn't make boost. It ran like 13s.
Ouch.
Yeah, and so we're like, I'm like freaking out at this point. I'm like, I'm burnt, just exhausted. And we ended up, I talked to the dude, went over some stuff, and we decided at this point, let's go ahead and change the oil. Let's take a few minutes, kind of calm down. And I was pissed. I mean, lack of a better word of anything you could say, I was just pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a guy up in our area. He was a drag week guy. I mean, there's some people that know him that we run with. Jake Brantner. He had a shop, and it was literally like 5 minutes from my house. I used to go down there, and he'd weld stuff for me all the time. He'd always give me a hard time on this, Chinese aluminum I had. He'd always, I take care of it, and whatever else. And I'd pick it up, and it looked amazing every time. I mean, it was perfect. It gave me some trouble, but I got it. And it don't look good. And I'm like, dude, Jake, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, he ended up passing away. He got in a little murder. He got murdered. I mean,
damn,
terrible deal. And so I'm going back to Ozark at this point. I'm pissed. I'm leaning up against my car, and I'm just mad as hell. And I look up, and at Ozark, they have a banner. Jake Brantner, bear hugs, handshakes, all this stuff. And I'm ready to give up. I mean, this is the time I'm just ready to throw in the towel. And I see this banner. And no joke, Narcs, man, I start bawling.
Oh, my God.
And I look at that, and I smack myself, and I'm like, nope. We're doing it. And I realized that was Jake. He put his hand on my shoulder, and he goes, I got you, bud.
Let's go. Yeah.
Dude. And so I put it back in the lanes. And like I said, we're, low boost, pump gas, not trying to push it. The car had been running, low 11s. I shit you not. I went 1095.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So then I let the car cool back down and put it back and, turn the tack down and ended up going like 11-teen again.
Yep.
And
what's funny is like a lot of times it's that extra little time. It's the time because like, man, we're limited on shop time because, wife, 2 kids, job, all that kind of stuff, trying to get other car projects done, and so you end up like just rushing through a ton of stuff. So you end up somewhere like that and you're like, man, it's broke. So the old truck, I was making passes this year, 14.0, 98 miles an hour, speed limiter wasn't turned off. I'm like banging my head against the wall. What's going on here? Yeah. So it was easy fix,
Yeah.
So. All right. So, what was he saying?
So, yeah. So the dude reminded me of the next day. We're rolling down through there, and we get caught in the middle of a rainstorm. Now, I typically check all my equipment before I leave town. Definitely made sure the wipers worked. So before we left, I mean, they would do their whole deal.
Yeah.
So we roll in, it starts raining a little bit. Go to turn the wipers on.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's bad.
It's moving, but I mean, it's not moving fast.
No, it ain't going to clean anything.
Wipe the windshield before we got there. And so we pulled into some little podunk gas station. And I walk in, I'm like, hey, do y'all have Rain-X? And this, older gal, she's like, there might be one back there. I go back there, and I kid you not, there is an inch of dust on this box. This box had to have been from like 1991.
Nice.
So I was like, is this stuff even any good? Like, does Rain-X go bad? We get out there and coat the windshield. I mean, we pulled under the deal, wiped it all down, everything, and we're like, all right, here we go. Bomb through, Rain-X. Guys, Rain-X. Make sure you have it in a bag.
Yes.
Put it on the windshield, keep it with you. The greatest, lifesaver ever.
Yeah. So the old truck doesn't have any wipers. So yeah, we are firm believers in Rain-X.
Dude, this stuff is amazing.
Yep.
Which, so we learned the Rain-X thing from the street rod days.
Oh yeah.
They would use Rain-X on their windshields all the time. We actually outran in a tornado in Des Moines, Iowa one time. And the windshield wiper on my uncle's 55 Chevy fell off. But Rain-X, man, it saved the day.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. That's crazy. So that was 19 when you guys came through Arkansas. Like y'all kind of came through like Springfield, like you came Ozark and then through the edge. I think you came through the edge of Arkansas.
That was 18, wasn't it?
Oh, man, I can't remember.
So how far is Silasol, Oklahoma?
Yeah, Salsaw's south of where I live, about an hour. So it's like Fort Smith, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, Fort Smith's where we went to that steak place.
Yeah.
So that's Fort Collins. You want to touch on the food thing?
Yeah.
Silasol, Oklahoma. There's a chicken place. Was it Charlie's Chicken? Charlie's Chicken was amazing. Like
That's
dude, like homemade buffet, like
Ooh.
homemade food down there. That stuff was so good.
That's cool. Some old lady in the back just making fried chicken all day. It's all she does. It's all she's done for 40 years.
Dude, and it was so good. Like I got on the RMRW's page and posted. I know Scott Brown with Old Bel Air. He stopped in there because he's seen that.
That's awesome.
And then there was a place, I want to say it was Fort Collins, Colorado. This is steak. Yeah, it was on the way to Kearney. Flame Steakhouse. Dude, the weirdest like setup for a steak place ever. Like there's a gas station, and then like where the Burger King used to be was like a 5-star steakhouse.
Wow.
And it was a weird vibe, but the steak was so good. I mean, probably like top 5 best steaks I've ever had.
That's crazy. It's probably all old Burger King stuff back there in the back. They're like, no, we'll take the whole building. We're going to turn it into a 5-star place.
Dude, but it was so weird. Like you walk in and there's like weird drapes like hung up and like some random plants and the lights are all dimmed. They have like 4 things on the menu.
You're like, this is a money laundering outfit right here. They're money laundering. And yeah,
it was so good.
That's crazy. And see, like, that's the kind of shit you see on race week. Like you would have never eaten at that place if you had not been on an event like this.
No, I mean, if I'd have been with my wife and kids and we're rolling through there, going to some, whatever. No, I'd have been like, I don't think so.
No, let's keep going. Let's find a McDonald's or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh, dude, I'm telling you. So yeah.
You gave me the notes earlier.
Yeah.
Literally, so the food thing, essentially, guys, I'm a gas station connoisseur. I like gas station food. But right below that in gigantic bold letters, we are against McDonald's.
Nice.
And I say this because in 2015, we didn't know what the hell we were doing, trying to get food and, do stuff. We ate McDonald's every day for a week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't do that. It'll ruin you.
That's been 15 now, is that like 6 years?
Yeah.
I have a hard time eating a McDonald's cheeseburger now. Like that was don't do that. Don't find some mom and pop shop.
Yep.
Get some gas station sushi. Don't eat McDonald's every day.
Now, I mean, gas station pizza sticks, maybe. I don't know about gas station sushi. Like, it's a dangerous idea.
To Doug Cook on that one, man. that year that we were down there, and I think it was the first year they had the Nova when he put the LT in it, and they were trying to figure out the segmented swap harness and everything. They're sitting in the back of the hotel, and they're trying to figure out the harnesses, and he's over there eating gas station sushi.
Oh, dude, that's dangerous, man. Like Sam's Club sushi, I'll try. Like gas station, I'm like, ooh, no thanks. No thanks. That's funny.
I don't eat sushi, period, but that's
hey, tomatoes, potatoes.
Yeah, so the food thing though, like we try to hit mom and pop shops, small restaurants. I love track food.
Yeah.
Dude, the chili cheese pie things, with the Fritos and stuff. Dude, I love when tracks have like pulled pork sandwiches.
Yep. Well, and so here's one thing that Adam Dory talked about on the podcast, on his podcast, was like, like, support those things. All those folks, they're buying food, hoping everybody's going to buy food. So like, let's support them and help them. But one thing him and I talked about was like, somebody needs to go down through like the route and see all these gas stations and be like, somebody put up kid handmade written signs that say race weakers welcome, and everybody will pull in there.
Dude, that's what we do. If we see that stuff, even if we
Yep.
don't need anything, I'll go in there and buy a bottle of water.
Yep.
You know, just because they made the sign, like they, anticipated us coming.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to start reaching out to some, I'm sure the cities know that it's coming, but like, those little gas stations that are in those towns, like, do they know it's coming? Like, I'll do burnouts in front of those places. And that's like the calling card of race weakers. Hey, stop here. It's a cool place, So,
which let's do ad though. Trailer burnouts are cool when they're allowed. Let's not be dicks about it, guys.
There you go. Yeah, that's fair.
Some places kind of frown upon that.
Yep.
But if they want it though, by full means, man, let's give them a show.
Give it to them. Yeah. If the dude out there is going, please give me a burnout right out here, it's like, you got to give it. If kids are arm pumping and somebody spraying water on the road, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. All right, let's see. So we were 2018. Lead us into 2019 while I get another beer.
Right. So 2019, that was the mountain.
Yeah, that's the only time we did the mountain.
So 2019 was the only time we've done the mountain one. And that was very interesting for us. We didn't pull a trailer that year. We used the basket system. That's kind of a weird one. And so we ended up building the basket off the back of the car. We had the slicks, had the fuel jugs back there, and the back seat of my car was completely packed. It was like a terrible Jenga experiment of everything that we needed. And that was the year that my wife, my mom, my sister, and all the kids came out because it was McKenna's birthday. And day one, me and the dude showed up early. We set up the tent, had the car out, and decorated the tent. And it, happy birthday, McKenna, everything. I had it on the back window of the car. I talked to Matt, which Matt's awesome for doing this.
Love that dude.
Hey, man, it's my daughter's birthday. And he picked her up and put her on the trailer at the driver's meeting, and everybody sung happy birthday to her.
That's too cool.
And she still eats that up. I mean, she's a ham over that,
That's what's great about those guys. Like, I mean, he cares about that stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, no, dude, and that's the best part of Rocky Mountain Race Week is Matt, June, the boys, and the family aspect of what they do with this event. I mean, they fully support full families coming out. It's awesome that he did the road week side of it.
Yes. Yes.
So the families can take the car and show up, and they can run the route, and they can kind of see, what we do.
Mm-hmm. And they can do it, in air conditioning.
Right. Well, you talking about rolling the windows down?
Yeah. Vent windows, bud. Vent windows.
Dude, my RV's got those.
Yeah. Nice.
So, actually, what we do is we'll go up to whatever hardware store and buy dryer hose, and we'll tape it to the window and stick it inside the car.
Yep.
Dude, movable AC, man. If you want a lot of air, move it closer. You want a little less, move it back.
Yep. Yeah. Dino Cardella says Race Week has a better feel than Drag Week.
Absolutely.
So how many cars are on Drag Week though? I mean, you're 700, something like that, right?
No, I want to say they're around 400. They're 350, 400.
Maybe a little more.
Not That's actually a good question. But so
Robert Lee says plumb PVC to your crotch. It's the ball air, bud.
right.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's basically what I do with that dryer hose.
Yeah, I knew that's where you were going with it. I was like, might as well say it. Because, like, listen, if you can keep the core of your body cool, your whole body's cool.
Right. If the central system's cool, everything
Yeah.
else works.
Yeah. Right up my shorts leg.
Yep. Oh, I've done it.
Yep.
Not pretty sight, but I've done it.
Yeah. Robert says 425 for drag week.
Okay. So
What's
so
interesting is like the difference in dynamic that I've heard from people in, like, I mean, that's not very many more cars, 425 for drag week. I mean, race week has 300, so it all comes down to Matt and June and
it
the
is
atmosphere.
insane
They have more help.
the difference of that 125 cars.
Yeah.
And then especially the way drag week is ran versus the way race week is ran. Drag week is very, cut and dry, like to the point, like they have such hard cutoffs. And I mean, they're kind of dicks. I mean,
See, like, that blows my mind. Like, but that comes from the corporate side of stuff.
I guess that's probably the main difference is,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it's Hot Rod Magazine, it's, the Motor Trend and whatever else. They're,
Yeah.
They're a corporation.
Yeah.
And so they have, they have to have certain rules, guidelines, and restrictions, whatever else.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've literally seen it, and it happened to us one year too. Like, they call the lanes a certain time, you get up there, and if you're not on that magic line, go back to the pits. You're done.
Ah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Unlike where, Matt's like, all right, hey, if you're in the lanes by this time, we'll run you.
Yep.
We'll run everybody out. We're good.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then just like the race week is so much more laid back. You get the drive days.
Yeah.
We race at night.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different atmosphere. It's just so much more friendly. And I mean, granted, we are talking about race week, and I am kind of dogging on drag week. I mean, if you guys get the chance to do one, do it. It's a great experience.
Yep.
But as soon as you get done from drag week, sign up for race week.
Yep. So Dino Cardella says drag week is very robotic. And then Robert Lee says drag week is 5 tracks, 5 days. Race week, Rocky Mountain, anyways, is 5 tracks, 7 days. And so
1.0 is.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I said like Rocky Mountain, because like I feel like Matt's pushing to make 2.0 more of like a quote unquote race week. Like it's so like you'll have like Rocky Mountain race week, and then you'd have like race week.
That's exactly what he's done.
Yep. And Wendy always tells me, because I had these grand visions, I was going to talk to all these racers. I was going to do a podcast every day for 2.0 last year, all this kind of stuff. I didn't get to do any of that because we were so busy, because it was like drive all day, race at night, get to the hotel, edit a video, put a video out. I mean, like I was up till 3:00 a couple times,
Dude, I can tell you, you would have a better chance of doing that on race week versus drag week. Like the drag week stuff is intense. And that's, if we touch on that real quick too. So recently there was some talk on the RMRW's page, some people with some ruffled feathers and stuff, worried about this, that, and the other. If you guys want a super competitive, event, go do drag week.
Yep.
That's where that needs to be.
Yep.
Go for the bragging rights, go for that whole deal. That event is intense. I mean, it's night and day different than race week.
Yep.
I mean, really, race week, to me, in my own opinion, is about the family aspect, the getting out, talking to people, having a good time. Yeah. You actually win money on race week, which is awesome that Matt figures out how to do that. The drag week thing, that's purely bragging rights, and it's a lot more cutthroat than race week.
See, that's crazy to me. Like, and I've never done drag week and probably never will, to be honest. Like race week, Rocky Mountain is that's my family now. You know what I mean? Like whether they want me or not, I'm in, um, it's because like everybody is having a good time. And I mean, I've hosted enough events to know that people complain about a bunch of shit that they shouldn't, like that doesn't even matter in the big scheme of things. But I feel like 95% of the folks that are doing race week love it. And they're doing it because of the atmosphere that it brings and all of that stuff. So that's the best part about, I think, doing race week is like everybody hanging out and having fun.
Oh, dude, that's the best part, man. I love race week because that's when I get to see all my friends, the people that I've met in the previous years. And like I said before, that gap in time is nothing when you're on race week.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally pick up right where you left off. And I've met some of the greatest people doing these events. And now some of them have carried over from drag week to race week. But regardless, I mean, once you're in the race week family, I mean, it's your family.
That's awesome. Sorry, I was replying to Robert Lee, said, how much money would it take for him to wear a blue hat? I said, when he wants to go incognito, sometimes he'll wear a black one.
So speaking of the hat, so everybody sees the 1320 video hat. Huge shout out to Kyle and the boys. I've known Kyle for, I can't even tell you when I first met him. It had to have been like 04, 05.
That's awesome.
He used to come down and video, before Kansas City actually had like the street scene we had now.
Mm-hmm.
We used to race underneath the 12th Street Bridge. And if anybody knows that area, it's terrible because you run down, there's a gigantic S curve at the end. And like the cars now would just Dukes of Hazzard, the S curve at the end, you could not shut down. And so I used to give Kyle a hard time. I'm like, dude, make me a red hat, man. Like, you know me, dude. I only wear red hats. And I kept bugging him. And then this has been a few years ago. I got a message from a mutual friend of ours, Justin Keith, Streetcar Takeover.
Yep.
He says, hey, I need your address. A buddy wants to send you something. And so I'm like, yeah, dude, whatever. Didn't really think anything about it. I'm friends with so many people, whatever.
Yep.
Literally like 3 or 4 days later, I get a box and I see the address and it says Omaha, Nebraska. And I lost my S on that. Opened it up and there's 2 red 1320 video hats.
That's awesome.
I can't even get it in there. And
yep.
I was like, oh my God, it's like a little girl at a Bieber concert. You know what I mean? Like, so then I started rocking these. And then in the meantime, some other people made some hats. I know Doug at Motion, he made, on which shoulder I'm at, he made those also. And I've had like 3 of them.
That's cool.
Worn a bunch of them. But here, let's say it would have been at the Joe Hunt Memorial Race. I was talking to Kyle, and he made mention that he had a bunch that he didn't end up selling. They had slight sun damage, and he asked me if I wanted them. Yeah, I do actually.
Bring them on.
I was like, what do I owe you? He goes, give me your address, you can have them. And I was like, what?
That's awesome.
So then I was jacking with Kyle. And I was like, hey, man, so, like, I'm sponsored now, huh? And he had a good laugh, and he's like, yeah, you can say you're sponsored, ha. I actually do take that very seriously. If you've noticed from that day, I will not be videoed or photographed without the 1320 hat.
That's awesome.
I do take that. So I appreciate Kyle for making these. I want to say he did it for me. I know there's a ton of other people that have them, but guys, that's because me.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Actually, so I'm going to cover a good part of it. But if you guys look at my driver's license,
are you serious? Dude, that's awesome.
I am wearing a 1320 video hat in my driver's license.
That is amazing. That is amazing. You are crazy. That's hilarious.
So yeah, actually, man, if somebody give a message to Kyle, I'll sign the contract for the sponsorship whenever you're ready, man.
Yeah, he's
We
ready.
need to make some more.
Yeah.
Apparently, they don't sell them anymore. I had a guy in Great Bend, Kansas, Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0 this year, stop me, wanted to buy one from 1320 for me to sign.
That's awesome.
And they didn't have them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Dirty Panda says the only 2 red 1320 hats. That's cool.
Actually, I could go get the box that has like 4 or 5 more in there.
That's cool, man. That is too cool.
And actually, so speaking of that too, so I have probably 2 of the most custom hats out. So Matt, when he did the Rocky Mountain Race Week and the Race Week hats, they were black. All y'all like black hats.
Yep.
I don't.
Yep.
I got a hold of Shaggy that was doing these. I actually have the red Race Week hat. And I have the red Rocky Mountain Race Week hat.
That's awesome.
So I got permission from Matt to do those. And Shaggy, man, thank you for doing those. I know you caught me at a terrible time when you dropped those off. That was right at the end of race week when I had literally no money, and that was the whole motor week thing. So
Nice.
Dude, next time I see you, Shaggy, I got you, dude.
That's awesome.
I appreciate those so much, man. So much.
That's super cool. Dirty Panda says he remembers that video that Kyle did about the hats.
So was he talking about when Fred interviewed me in Oklahoma City? So Fred gave a modified story of the Red Hat thing.
Oh, nice.
But it basically touches most of the bases on the Red Hat thing, and
cool.
I bugged Kyle so much to
That's
do
awesome.
those.
Yeah, I think that's what he had said earlier. Destroyer 1320 just popped in. If you guys don't follow him, definitely go over and follow his channel right now. Destroyer 1320. Great content over there, and has been a huge help to me. We probably wouldn't be doing live streams without his help. So definitely appreciate that, dude. All right. God dang it. What have we been talking about? Hey. So 2.0, you're doing 2.0. We talked about that. What is your most anticipated track for 2.0?
Enos, Texas.
Dude, I'm so pumped. So Johnny Clyde, one of our buddies, YouTube buddies, and friend, I mean, not just YouTube buddy, but he lives down there now. I've got family that are huge car people, and I've never been to Enos. So I'm pumped.
Dude, so we haven't either. We've ran every track on 2.0 at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, obviously Tulsa's a good friend of mine.
Yep.
I'm not doing a motor there this year.
No.
And then Noble, Oklahoma City. I love that track. We always run really good down there.
Fastest pass ever in the kart was at Noble.
Yeah.
By I'm talking like by 0.3 of a second.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, yes.
Big time fastest stuff there. Yeah. So and definitely.
Then the other track, Mad, Mid-America Dragway, Wedna Springs, Arc City.
Yeah, Arc City. Arc City's probably the biggest town they can find that's close to it. I was actually looking at it today on Google Earth. Have you seen that? Like, I've never been to the track. It's like a huge triangle.
Dude, I have. I've been there. I've ran there.
Oh, nice.
That track is legit. So we went and ran an event down there, and it's crazy because it literally is. It's triangle. Yeah. It's an old airfield, but they have it where you can run down there. And so earlier, and I was gonna tag in on this when you're talking about the kids. So I love when kids, walk up and they, man, that's awesome, high five stuff. So we went down there and ran, and I'd swapped converters in my car, and it was a bad move. I went the wrong way. So my car was way off pace. But at that track, it's awesome because you shoot down the track and you come back up, and there's a chain link fence, and everybody sits out there. There was a bunch of kids down there, and they had their hands through the fence. And so I slowed, way, way down, rolled the window down, and gave them all high fives.
Yes.
And they lost it. I mean, they were the rock stars of the evening. And so every time I think I made like 4 or 5 passes that night. And after I did it the first time, more and more kids showed up.
Oh, cool.
And I'm just like, how slow can this car go so I can get all of y'all?
Yeah, definitely.
And that was, honestly, I look forward to that track for that.
Yeah. That's going to be cool. I'm excited. So the way the nitrous will go into the turbo, I'm going to have to almost do it up so I can purge past all those kids.
Yeah, dude, they will eat it up.
Oh yeah, dude.
But
yeah, Dino says that what was it? What was his Arc City? We'll call it Mid America Dragway. Sits an old airfield, just like you said. Yep.
And they've done a lot of cool stuff to that track to make it a track, and it has serious potential. They've actually got really good food down there too, by the way.
That's awesome. They better, because there ain't shit around it.
No, there's one random gas station like 15 miles away.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see that. I think the trip because I think we do Tulsa, then Kansas, right? Or something like that. I think it's that. And
we go.
It's Oklahoma City, then Enos. Then it's either Kansas or then it's either Kansas to Tulsa, or we go Enos to Tulsa to Kansas.
Man, I just get in the car and drive.
Well, you can't figure it out anyways. Like, it wouldn't matter. I'm really excited about the trip from Oklahoma City to Enos, because when I look at it, it's a long way and it's all interstate. So we're not going to be on the interstate. I mean, we may spend a few minutes on the interstate, but it won't. It's going to be so cool to be back in the back side of 2-lane highway coming from Oklahoma into Texas. So
some straight up 2-lane blacktop stuff.
Yes, 100%.
Cafe.
Yeah, right. Man, it ought to be some really good stuff. And then I think some of that stuff will hit some parts of Route 66 and all that. So there'll be some really cool parts coming from, as we pass through Oklahoma and all that stuff.
For sure. The checkpoints on 2.0 is going to be so cool.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm so ready to see those checkpoints.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be really neat. I can't imagine putting together the drag and drive we did in April, and it was like a 200-mile loop from Mocan down towards Northwest Arkansas and back up. And that was hard. And that was a one-day event. We drove on Saturday and raced Saturday night. I can't imagine trying to put an event on that is like this. So
no.
I'm excited. I haven't reached out to Matt yet, but I'm going to, about being on and kind of talking about some of the stuff and all that. So I wanted to get some of the big names out before I reach back out to him.
Right.
So, all right. So that's most anticipated was Enos, and then let's do some beer flavor. Carl asked, or Dino Cardella on here. Carl Steamy on Facebook. I mean, obviously, I think you're a Miller Lite guy, like I am. Yep, best beer ever. It's good stuff. I will
say, though, for anybody listening, my favorite beer is a cold one.
Yeah, my first favorite is free. Second is cold.
Man, I tell you what. So you're talking about cold free beer. When 2.0 last year, we blew the motor. We put it in. We made the drive from Oklahoma to Topeka, Kansas. Nobody knew we were there. And I literally pulled in, and Topeka's, kind of my home track, even though I hate to admit it. We rolled in, unloaded the car, made a pass, sent it. Everybody's like, where the hell did you come from? And literally, Doug Cook and James Towers, they were pitted right on the other side of us, but there's I basically parked right in the middle of the drive,
Nice.
into the staging lanes type thing.
Yeah.
And so I went over and said something to Doug, and he's like, "Holy shit," And he's like, "You look like you need a beer." And I'm like, "Yes, I do." And he
Yes.
gave me the coldest, tastiest Busch Light I've ever had.
There you go.
Forget how great that single beer tasted.
That's awesome.
Because at this point, I'd been up for probably 18 or so hours.
Yeah.
So out of the entire crew that was with me doing the motor, I was the only one that didn't take a nap.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's brutal. Bad Tree Productions. I just want to say hey to that dude. He said, "What's up?" And then Dino Cardella says, "PBR is always special to me because Dirty Panda had said PBR, rock out. PBR is always special to me. Used to steal it out of his dad's fridge. So that's awesome." My little brother, Steven, popped in on Facebook, says he's ready to go on 2.0. He's bringing our Project Adam Ant, or his Project Adam Ant, which is a 2.3 Lima out of like a Fox Body SVO Mustang, with big turbo, big cam, T5, 8.8, 4-link, full tube chassis car. It's going to be a ton of fun. He's going to road week that car. It'll be the first time it's been on the road ever. So
sweet.
Yeah. So we're down to the wire. Yeah. It ought to be wild. It's hood stacked. Should shoot a flame, 6 or 8 inches out pretty easy. So,
I bet it won't.
Yeah, right. The 50 shot should help. If it doesn't, we're going to put a big one out. So he's got a little trailer to pull in behind it. He built his own trailer. Dude, you'll love that car. It'll be really cool. You'll appreciate it. So I'm excited about that. It'll be him and I went to Indy together for Cletus and Cars Indy. And that was the first time as adults we had spent that much time together away from our family. So it was really cool. And so this will be, by the end of the week, we'll either strangle each other or it'll be even more brotherly love.
Dude, so exactly. That's something that definitely needs to be talked on when people choose co-pilots.
Oh, dude. All right, hang on. I'm going to write this down because this is going to make good content right here. Because listen, that's important. All right. So my co-pilot, Dustin Prince, coming back for 2.0. He's a great co-pilot. Directions were great. All that kind of snack ready all the time. But the conversation, dude, you got to have the right person there. You got to be able to talk about stuff for hours on end. That's dude, interesting.
You got to be able to have that awkward silence. Something happens, whatever, and you just be quiet for a few minutes. You both got to be on that page of like, hey, we just need to shut up for a few minutes and just kind of collect our own thoughts.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I think that's probably because, there was a post a couple of weeks ago on the RMRW page about co-pilot. Oh, hey, I'm looking for a co-pilot. And it made me think like, man, would you just pick up anybody? Like if somebody come up and was like, hey, can I ride with you? How hard would that be?
Dude, that would be intense.
Yes. Because what if you get in there a dumbass? That would be oh my God. And they're talking about stuff you don't even care about. You're like, use downshift. I think that's probably why Jonathan Stonecipher's car is so loud.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah.
The gas chamber Nova. Dude, I rode in it for 3 hours, almost died. Won't get back in it, but it was the best of the best experience I've ever had. It was so cool.
Dude, so that's why I've got the dude with me, me and my dad, he raised me and all this stuff. And honestly, he's my best friend. We get along so well. And there are times me and him do butt heads.
Yep.
It happens. But we do have that moment of like, hey, I'm going to shut up. He's going to shut up. And, then, a few minutes later, we start talking again. It's how it goes.
Yep.
But I like some of my real good friends, like, my buddies and stuff, I couldn't imagine doing this with them.
Yes.
And I love you guys. Don't get me wrong, but that'd just be rough.
Yeah, you'd be like, listen, I can take you in small doses. 3 hours a week on Friday nights. You can come over and hang out, but not for a week.
Yeah.
Yep.
get in the trailer. We got a 2-hour run.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So my dad and I had the same kind of relationship. It was really cool. And he went on, him and I did a power tour when it hit Arkansas in 12, or Miami, Oklahoma in 12. And he drove his own truck. And we get to the hotel night one, and he's like, I should have just ridden with you. He's like, but I didn't think your old truck would make it. So I'm like, you bastard, And then so for 13, it actually crossed Arkansas, and he rode with me to Texarkana, and then Steven met us, and then he bounced between the trucks, and that was the coolest trip ever. And him and I mean, we talked about race week and stuff like that, but we lost him last February. So enjoy your dad. It's a huge part of being a cool dude. So anyways, all right, let's talk about cool stuff before I get off on a tangent there. Let's talk about ice cream. Because like if you're on the road and it's hot, I mean, you have to have ice cream at a gas station. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Well, let's just preface this, all right? The whole ice cream thing. Never eat ice cream around Adam Dory or Chad Reynolds. Let's just get this out of the way.
Adam told that story the other night. They're going to wear it in inappropriate places.
Yeah. Ice cream's great. Just don't do it around Adam and Chad. I'm not really an ice cream guy. I mean, I'm just like a vanilla, I'm very, basic.
Yeah. Like whatever somebody's got, I'm going to eat theirs. I'm going to get some of that.
I'll just take a little bit. I'm not like a huge ice cream guy.
There you go.
I'll turn some Bomb Pops though.
Oh, now we're talking. Yep. There you go. Let's do, how about pizza toppings?
Oh man. Pepperoni never hurt me.
Yeah, right.
Good one. I like a good combo. Sometimes some sausage, mushroom, some green peppers, some black olive type stuff.
Right. Pizza Hut Supreme Pizza.
Dude, no, I can't do Pizza Hut.
Oh man, wow.
Dude, every time I eat Pizza Hut, bad news.
It's a race to the house. Yeah.
I'm definitely Tom McGilton in that race too. Man. I'm going fast.
Yeah, get out of the way. That's awesome. All right, so we talked about road food and pizza sticks earlier and gas station sushi. If what's a go-to? To snack while you're driving. What do you guys carry with you?
So me and the dude, we're real big on stopping at Walmart and getting the pre-made sub sandwiches.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We'll load up on a few of those, throw them in the cooler.
Yeah.
And they're a nice deal. You hit a checkpoint, sit down on the curb, smash the sandwich. That's really one of our big deals. Then me and him, our other thing that we always have to have, cheddar popcorn.
Cheddar popcorn. Okay.
You buy the bag of
it,
whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, we always have a bag between us, just running down the road, just munching.
That's awesome. That's a good idea. Dustin Prince 2.0 last year, we bought some of the best beef jerky I've ever had. He bought a tub of it, like $25 tub of this beef jerky. We literally had it eaten in I don't know, it was 15 or 20 miles. It was insanity how fast we ate through that. But we were hungry, and how snacks go. You're like, oh man, we didn't eat breakfast today. You just munching on that stuff. Just same thing. Yeah. That's hilarious, dude. Let's see. What else? What are I'm running out of questions here. I'm brain damaged, I feel like.
Well, I got a few of my notes left.
Let's do it.
So you asked me favorite cars.
Yes.
All right. So I wrote down 2, and I kind of left my top 3 open. So definitely, and Luke Brunkno, his red Butterface Fairmont.
Oh,
literally and he knows it. And he'll shoot me a message or something later, but I love that car and he knows it.
That's awesome.
It literally, guys, for real, when you see that car, it doesn't look like much. Go look at it and go talk to him. There are so many cool features of that car that go unnoticed.
Really? So I was watching a 1320 race week video today, and he was in it, and he was pulling that little boat with the gas cans in it.
Boatload of fuel.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so many cool things that him and Lucas did to that car. And I love that thing. Like, it is, and I tell him every time I see him, I love that car. Like, if he ever sells that car, I'm going to collect every penny, nickel, dime I have to buy that car.
That's cool.
And he knows that.
That's cool.
Then my number two, Scott Brown with the 53 Bel Air.
Oh, yeah. Capone.
Bro.
Oh, I love that car. So, funny story about that body style car. So, the old truck, my 66 GMC, my grandmother had bought my grandfather a 54 two-door tan car. And it really, when I was like 13, it came down to, do I push for the truck or do I push for the car? And at that time, street rides were a big deal. This is like 93, 94. And everybody built 1954 Chevrolets. You know, like all the magazines had them all. Nobody had that first gen C10 truck. So that's why I went with the truck. But like looking now, man, that car would have been so cool.
Right. Dude,
yep.
The progression
and his is awesome.
Oh, astounding! Like, how fast has he been? Does anybody listen? No, I mean, it's like an 8-second car now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he's been like 870s or something like that in that car.
Dude, and that car's not light.
No, and not aerodynamic.
No, it's like a brick.
And not like, factory was not a good suspension setup. So I don't even know what they have underneath the car now. I don't know any of that stuff. But
I think he's still on like leaf springs and Caltrax.
God, that car just works, man.
Dude, and then when he did the little Hellcat or bumper guards.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Dude, and then the fact that he has not a Fox on the license plate.
Yeah, right.
And I'm a Fox guy. But dude, that's one of my top 3 favorite cars.
Yes, yeah, that car is awesome.
And then so going into that too, so I listened to, and I think we talked about top 3. This also goes into, I think you asked me my favorite person every week. So I always leave 3 open, and I always leave favorite person open because it changes daily. Because I love when I get into the staging lanes, the pits, whatever, and the person comes up to me, doesn't matter who it is, and they're like, dude, I just ran my personal best. I broke XYZ, but I'm here now. Like, you're my favorite person.
Yes.
Yes. You persevered and you pushed through and you got that best. And also the person that tells me that we've got really great pulled pork at the track.
Yeah.
It's also my favorite.
Yep.
So for me, like, I do have favorite cars. I mean, there's a ton of cars all the way around. Kerry Watson, dude, I love her.
Yeah.
Car.
Yep.
She pushes that thing to the max.
Yep. And it's so dialed. Like, it's so dialed.
Dude, and the year that she put like 87 quarts of oil in it.
Yes, even better. She's a super cool chick. She's going to be on at some point if they can get her daughter's stuff figured out as far as like when she's going to be able, because I want her daughter on too, because she's done all the events.
Dude, so Andy, huge shout out to Andy. Girl, you rock. Her list that Carrie shared talking about that. Guys, follow that list.
Yes.
Telling you what to do for race week.
Yeah.
Dude, she was on point. Like, that was the greatest list of lists.
Yep. I'm going to make that note here in the RMRWers Facebook group.
Yeah, just post that one to the top.
Yeah, right. Pin that comment. Yeah, it's they are such a cool dynamic. Like, so, and also I saw the Joe Barry and Blaine story, the Nomad or whatever that car is. And like, I just think of Carrie and Andy that same way. Like, it's just so cool, like that they get to travel with that. I think once my younger daughter gets a little older, I think she's going to be my Andy.
Oh, dude, I've got McKenna. She's been wanting to go. And actually, we never touched on that, and I don't have any of them out here right now. Have you seen all the stuffed animal pictures?
So I saw the one post I have, I think, of the screen or the lead-in shot to this is like you've got Yoda. Yeah.
So this started the first year we did this in 2015. McKenna wanted to come so bad, but I mean, she's a small child, and that's
Yeah.
not
It'd just
really
be
good.
hard. I mean, like,
But so she gave me the first year we had Ariel from The Little Mermaid. And so I took that, and every checkpoint I'll take a picture with it. And I'll
nice.
find, different people, and they'll take a picture with that stuffed animal. And then I get to come back and tell stories of the road and everything.
Yeah.
So we had Ariel, we've had a pink dinosaur, we had Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles, we had Baby Yoda, and I mean I get everybody, man. I've had Kyle from 1320, man, he's always great about it. Finnegan got Baby Yoda last year. Krusty Nova, like the Krusty Nova one was good. 16. When we were in Michigan, I want to say it was US 131. Krusty Nova did a huge wheel stand and just smacked the oil pan. And I've got a picture of this pink dinosaur holding a ratchet. And I came back and told McKenna that, her dinosaur fixed Krusty's car.
That's cool.
So, and I mean, I meant to grab those, and then, we just life and everything. But,
Oh, yeah.
dude, so that's the other thing, too, is, man, if y'all see me with a stuffed animal and I walk up to you, just smile and take the picture, man.
Yep. Yep, it's exactly right. It's not something. It's like because she's sending it with you. That's cool. Dirty Panda said he's going to have his stuffed panda as a co-pilot when he runs.
Perfect, man.
Yep.
I've had all the stuffed animals. I buckle them in, Baby Yoda's been 10s, So.
That's cool. He's probably the only Baby Yoda that's been 10s.
Right?
That's a new world record. You just laid it out right there. Fastest Baby Yoda.
And I know there's a few other guys. Scott Kepplinger, he's got a dog that he takes with him. Man, Scott, I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't remember the dog's name. You have to remind me. That he takes with him. Then I know Travis Martin. He's got Turbo the Snail with him. But yeah, man, I do this stuff for the kids, man. Even the kids when we go out, they love seeing the stuffed animals hanging out the window. Oh
yeah. That makes me think I'm gonna have to put some stuffed animal on a back roll bar in the cart. I'm gonna have to do something. Yeah. That's cool. That's a good idea.
Dude, you need to put like Mario or Luigi or something in there.
Yes.
Mario.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so we talked 2.0. Are you? I guess you're bringing the race week car. You're bringing the Fox body.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be bringing the car that I affectionately call the Rickety Rocket.
Nice. That's a great name for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because it's held together with zip ties, hopes, and dreams.
There you go. What's your goal for it? Just to finish? You running a class?
Man, so always number one goal is to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the personal goal of a 10-second pass at every track.
Ooh, yeah.
I was on track to do it last year. Even with the motor swap, I was still within that. And then let's see, that would have been the third night. Third night, it was on the way to Great Bend. I had an issue with the Holly FI, and we found out later that the transducer for my fuel pressure regulator, monitor fuel pressure, it died. It got a short, and it wiped out all kinds of stuff. It was it ended up grinding out and back feeding.
Nice.
We couldn't figure it out. I mean, I had Travis Martin down there. I had Blaine Thiessen down there. He works at Poly now.
Oh, I need to have Blaine on.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Blaine.
That truck of his is nuts.
Dude, and then he swapped the motor in again. He's getting even more buck wild with it.
I like it. Him and Travis. I would like to have Travis on with the square body.
Dude, but so I was on and off the phone for hours. I mean, if you guys go back and watch the 1320 video from that day, I think I'm wearing the same Pantera shirt. I'm eating a cheeseburger, and like I'm near death, like trying to figure that problem out. Yeah, it got so bad I had to unplug my trans brake because it was back feeding so bad that it was clicking my trans brake at random times.
Oh, geez, that's not good.
So we ended up, with the new Holley Terminator, you can run the 1-bar map sensor through the ECU, and that's how we finished.
That's crazy.
So that was, I think I took a 20-second pass at Great Bend, mainly because I wanted to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we made that pass and packed up, and I went to the Angus Inn and passed out. Then we made
awesome.
the drive. So also, man, 2020 2.0, I mean, it lived up to the name. I mean, 2020
yeah,
ass. We had the fan quit on the Kansas Turnpike.
Oh my God.
So we are like bombing through there. The fan quit. We did the roadkill approved hood mod, taking it off, and it worked for a little bit. And I took the windshield wiper squirters and stuck them up in front of the radiator. And that kind of, I've actually, I've got a new deal I'm building for that. I found a fan mister that I'm going to tuck in front of the radiator.
Yeah.
The squirter for that. But
yeah,
man, that sucked. So after Great Bend, I think it was on the way to Great Bend. No, we got to Great Bend. We found some guys that were super cool, and they gifted us twin fans off like a Chevy Malibu or something.
Yeah.
And if you look at the pictures, it's zip tied to the front of my car.
Yes.
And we had a bunch of cardboard and everything. And I mean, it didn't work, but it worked. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
It made it where we could run longer before we started overheating. And then like the last leg of that, we were probably 100 miles from Tulsa. And I mean, that car was like nuclear hot, burning down, and I'm just flying. Like, I don't care at this point. Like, I'll get
just
there.
Get there.
As long as I break the beam kind of thing.
Yep.
But we finished, and it wasn't pretty. But
what was your average time for that year for 2.0?
Oh, it tanked.
I mean, at that point, it was probably like a 14 or something.
So I went 1060, blowing up the motor. Then I went 1054 on a completely unknown motor in Topeka. I literally bought a motor off some guy's garage floor. He goes, I heard it run once. I'm like, good enough for me. So we went to 1060, 1054. And then in my sleep-deprived state, I forgot to turn on the boost controller in Oklahoma City. So we went 1080. And then 20. And then I ran like a 1330. So I guess I could probably add that up and get a quick average. Yeah,
that's
but
great.
It was a rough. That was the roughest week we've had in all 6 events we've done.
Even the one where you drove from St. Louis to home to St. Louis, ended up racing or doing the weekend of Focus. That one was the roughest one.
The first year we did it, I had 0 miles on the car, and that was flawless. I had to fix. Oh yeah, the dipstick. We had a dipstick tube pop up, so I'd silicone the hell out of it.
Yep.
Valve cover gasket, and then the exhaust came undone. That was it on 15. 16 we didn't run tracks. We were in a Focus. It had AC, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then really, I mean, that was the worst one was the 2.0 last year. It was brutal.
Yeah. How much sleep do you think you got that week?
What? Sleep?
Sleep? What was that?
The only night that I actually slept worth a darn was the night of Topeka. A real good buddy of ours, John Cundy, lives in Topeka, and he put us up at his house, bought us pizza. I slept about 6 hours.
Nice.
And then that was it. So from after we went from Topeka to Oklahoma, and then we left Oklahoma, and we were kamikazeing to Great Bend. I slept on the side of the road for an hour after that.
Wow.
I think I calculated I slept a total of 10 hours that entire week.
That's crazy. It's what's funny is everybody always says it's the week of vacation that you need another week of vacation for.
Absolutely.
And like the struggle for a lot of guys while you're doing the math there is like, leading up to this, we're all like, you're wrenching till late trying to get stuff done, trying to get a trailer ready, trying to get packed, trying to get the car ready,
Dude, so the average 13:05.
13, dude, that's awesome with a 20-second pass in the middle of all that. I mean, dang.
That's actually better than the first year I did drag week.
Nice. That's cool. That's crazy. That's fast. I hope we end up with a 14-second average this year. That's kind of my goal. The carts.
I'm going to push you. I'm going to push you to that average, man.
Yeah. Well, like a 14.999 would be great for me.
Hey, with that like, 9 still counts.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say with the cart, like we're in unlimited, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like we're not going to be competitive. I'd love to take the number 5 spot. I think that would be great.
There you go. Personal goals, man.
Yeah.
That's like I said, it's cool if you win money. But at the end of the day, basically, guys, just set a goal for yourself.
Yep.
Whether it be, I mean, obviously, number 1 goal, finish.
Yes.
Number 2, just set a goal for yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to win one of these classes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like think about like I think for 2.0 last year, like the top 3 spots were within like 0.05 or something like that. Like 0.05 of like a 13 or 11 or a 10. You know what I mean? Like the competitiveness of that stuff would be awesome.
So though I'm pretty excited for Matt talking about taking classes and only giving them 2 or 3 runs in a day.
I think that. So I had debated after I talked with Adam, was like, how cool would it be to take every pass of the week and give it like whoever has the most, like, how do you get, I don't know how to figure that up, but like the fastest pass from every pass, how do you give that person because you figure 3 passes a track, if somebody is like a 10-second car, you could have like a 12.5, you could have like a 10.0, you could have an 11.8, like how do you get consistent right out of the gate,
Dude, I got to be on that game, just have it, be set up before. But so, and I know quite a few people that have made 13, 14, 15 passes at one track. I mean, just hot lapping it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Kerry Watson. Yeah.
Yeah, you hear a dude back there?
Yeah.
Dude. So I mean, you imagine if you're right there in the thick of it, being a class runner, you're in the top 3, and then all of a sudden your class gets pulled for the 3 passes.
Yeah.
You've got a small window to make that number. And I think that's what's going to make this interesting now.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree. And you think about it, like if you have 300 cars, I mean, it's 900 passes. Like that's a bunch, there's a lot of guys that'll do one and done, but I mean, Stone Cipher typically has his car set up that close that he can get out and do it. And he's doing it for fun. Most of the time he wants to be top 3 in his class. And I really feel like he's coming for blood for that big block NA this year.
I think he's gonna be one of them guys
Yeah.
that's gonna be pushing an envelope for that class.
Yep. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch him do that. And I'm ready. Like last year he was, I think he had just a big inch LS in there. So I'm interested to ride in that car for another 3-hour tour, like Gilligan's Island 3-hour tour there, with him in that, because it's so wild. I'd love to ride in the car with you. Maybe we'll throw the dude in the cart for a while and let him wave at all the girls and just the cart
He's
is
got a
so
big smile on his face right now.
the cart is so much fun simply because it's so dumb. When you pull through town, people are like, oh my God, because they see all these cool race cars and then they see that thing. Oh my God. And the trailer we're going to build is going to be dumb. We're going to have big flags off of it. It's just going to be a blast. So,
dude, and that's what the event's about, man, is just
Yep.
having fun and getting out and, just doing it.
yeah. Yeah.
The best part of this event is really the drive,
Yes.
seeing small towns, the checkpoints, stopping in that random gas station with, whoever. You could insert anybody's name here.
Yeah.
Just talking to them, that's what this is about.
Yep.
I tell everybody, racing's the bonus. I mean, we all love racing, don't get me wrong, but
Yep.
these events are strictly, the back roads, the small town, like that's the event. That's what makes this so much fun.
Yeah, it's about the trips between the tracks. Like that's because there's so many times where I don't know. There were times where I saw cars at gas stations that I had never seen at the track because, like everybody's kind of spread out a little bit or everybody's bunched up and you're so busy trying to get ready for that pass, because I don't know about you guys, but we would swap tires and, we were made the dumb mistake of not taking a trailer year one. Like a trailer is a godsend. Like you have to do a trailer because like the tires on the cart weigh 81 pounds a piece and they were on the roof. So it's like, we'd load them on, we'd take them off, like you'd get there, you'd take them off the roof, you'd unpack the jack that weighs 40 something, like you just keep unloading it. And by the end of the week, the waterproof bucket we had in the back in the trunk weighed like 80 or 90 pounds and we didn't want to unload it anymore. So we would like manhandle that thing out of it and just drop it on the ground, so you start figuring up your 300 or 400 pounds worth of shit that you're unloading at the track.
Yeah, dude, that's so we have the trailer, but at the same time, dude, just unhooking the trailer, swapping the tires. And I run spring spacers in my rear coils for the trailer. So popping those out, and then getting it down, getting the laptop out, double checking the tune and everything. Like it's a process.
Yeah.
And actually touching on what you said earlier, if you got an issue and you're running late at night, dude, there's a lot of people I know and have seen, they didn't have a single issue, but they're still not getting out of the track till late because they got to reload everything.
Yeah. Yeah, there were several times where we didn't leave till 10:30 or 11. And I mean, literally would get to the hotel. I would unload the unload the backpack and be like, I got to edit a video to get it out. That's the only way the small YouTube channels are ever going to make it is if we can get something out before 1320,
Right.
So
that's actually too, another thing. I'll be having some YouTube stuff here soon. Me and my buddy No Way.
Nice.
We started some stuff, trying to figure it out. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, I watch YouTube stuff, but at the same time, like, I'm just too busy.
Yep.
So, like, trying to get it done or, like, actually filming while I'm working and, like, figuring out when to stop and when to start and everything else.
Yep.
But we'll be doing stuff here real soon. It'll be under Questionable Performance Solutions.
Hang on, I'm typing that out for everybody. Questionable performance. If I could type solutions. And that's going to be like you guys are doing a channel on YouTube, right? God dang
Yeah,
it.
we've started filming quite a bit here lately. One of my project cars, it's a 93 Mustang. It's actually Ford powered. B302 head cam intake, turbo, Holley EFI. It's called a spare change stang.
Nice.
It's literally just a bunch of like swap meet parts I bought over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And like I said, we've got started on that. Then the motorhome I bought, the Neighbor Hater, we've been filming on it. Me and the dude just took the motor out of it this week. Then we've got, obviously my race week car. Noah is signed up for 2.02. He's going to have what we like to call the bruised up stang.
Nice.
It literally looks like it has a black eye. So he bought that car a few years ago, and he drove it daily, and it caught on fire.
Nice.
And it burnt pretty good. So the one fender's still all burnt. It's got a black front end. It's got some Mistachrome hood that he bought from somebody. One of his friends backed into it. And so,
that's awesome.
Beat up. But it's another Turbo LS car. But so he's coming out with that. So we've got a lot of content going. We just haven't kicked it off yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, brother, I know what you're talking about. The time, it really doubles your work time by setting up the camera. I do want to say thanks to Stuff with Cletus Automotive. He did just send some money over. Appreciate that for sure. I'm gonna start working on some super chat thanks videos for that. I will say they will involve burnouts, so just get ready.
Burnouts are good.
Yes, everything has to do burnouts. So, well, cool. All right,
you're not trying hard enough.
No, I mean, hey, listen, that's the way it goes. So I pulled up on Google search just a second ago how many days we have until September 19th. You want to take a guess? No. How many days? You want to take a guess? 61. 61 days. That's way too fast. I'm really so the cart is pretty much ready. We've got to obviously, reposition the nitrous sprayer to spray into the turbo instead of up. But I've got to completely build the trailer. I've got to get tall tires. I've got to get. Last year I borrowed Austin Martin, Wendy Martin, and Lewis Martin's son. I borrowed his helmet and jacket because he wasn't going to make 2.0. So I can't do that again. I've got to buy my own helmet and jacket, gloves, and all that kind of stuff. So got to get all that ordered and done.
Dude, so luckily for us, I didn't change anything on the car this year. I added anti-roll bar and I got new tires.
Nice.
So that's it. We're running the same motor that I got from Dustin Sullivan. Dustin, he hooked us up, last year, and I'm going to run it. It's going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it'll work. You've changed motors before.
I ain't doing that again, man.
Just be like, nope. No, listen.
So that was funny. So we were talking about that the other day on the RMRWs, and David Williams, he had a bunch of repairs he was doing down there too. And we were, caddy corner in the parking lot, and we basically said, hey man, next time, we're barbecuing and we're drinking beers. That's the only way we're going to be across from each other.
Yep. So that's one of the big things on the trailer is the grill mount. So we're definitely gonna buy hot dogs and hamburgers, I think, every day. So
yeah. So no gas station sushi for you.
Oh no, we're still gonna eat that stuff. We're just gonna do hamburgers and hot dogs at some of the tracks throughout the week. Now we will have to eat at the tracks, like we were talking earlier. Restaurants closed, all that kind of stuff. So.
Right.
So it'll be a balancing act. So how do you guys, so we talked about that a little bit, but like, how do you typically, what's your plan for food as you go into the week? Like, are you like, we're going to cooler it, or we're going to, we're going to be by a Walmart. We're going to swing in. We're going to grab some sub sandwiches, throw them in the cooler, and
Man, we do everything just as it rolls.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like we're 61 days from race week.
Mhm.
I didn't book a hotel.
Oh my God. Well, luckily Wendy handles all of my stuff. Like she's nice enough to throw me in that mix, or I wouldn't have either.
So once again, one of our superstitions, we've never booked hotels except for 1 year. That was the year that the car broke.
Nice. You're like, nope.
So we just roll with it. I mean,
Well, I mean,
I may hit some people up.
well, that's what I was going to say. Like,
on the floor.
yeah, there's always, and so I bought a cot a couple weeks ago. So I'm gonna bring the cot with us, just in case somebody needs to sleep in our room and the hotel doesn't have any cots left. Because like the hotels don't care. The people that are running the front counter when we check in at 11, they'll be like, yeah, 7 people to a 2-bedroom. Come on. We don't care.
Dude, no. So yeah. Oh my God. Hotels don't care.
Yep.
And that's for us. I mean, I slept in a Kirky last year.
Yeah.
Was it comfortable? Hell no. Did it
Yeah.
work? Yes, it did. I slept decent for an hour and a half.
Yep. I had debated on just like putting the canopy up on top of like basically setting it over the cart and just, camping on top of the cart. I mean, but luckily Wendy got us in, so we definitely appreciate her for that.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. But no, we roll with the punches. I mean, we
Yeah.
just go if what was that 17, we ended up driving like another hour out of town to get a hotel.
Yeah.
And that worked out, man. That dude that worked at a hotel, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, it was a very shady hotel, but he straight up was like, yeah, man, he's like, just pull the car right up front. He's like, I got the camera right there.
Nice.
Dude, he was cool. Then was that 15 at the Murder City Inn? Oh my God. So
That might have been the first year.
So 15, we didn't get any hotel rooms, and we showed up to Racine, Wisconsin, Great Lakes Dragway area. There's like a horseshoe of hotels, and they were all sold out. And the old gal that worked at, the whatever inn, she goes, well, let me make a phone call. She's like, I got somebody I can call. She goes, it's not nice. She goes, but it's a bed. We're like, all right. Bet,
Yeah.
And we go right across the street. This had to have been the shadiest. Like I swear to God, I thought I was going to see a drug deal in my bathroom.
Nice.
I slept in my clothes on top of the sheets.
Ooh, that.
It was like 1995 for the night.
That's awesome.
No, yeah, the door didn't lock. Like,
oh, you're like ramming a chair up underneath it. Like,
oh, we had 2 chairs.
Yeah, don't need anybody else in this room with us.
But I slept better that night than I did on 2.0 last year.
That's funny. All right, dude, it's 10 o'clock. I got to go.
Right?
Yes.
I appreciate it, man. This was awesome.
It was a blast, man. It was a blast. I can't wait to really you and I are going to hang out whether you want to or not. So I hope you're ready.
Oh, no. Likewise, man. You got to deal with me.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. All right, we'll do some collaboration. Stay with me. I'm gonna send us off, and I'm gonna shut this down, and we'll talk for a second. So, all right, guys. Hey, thank y'all so much. Listen, the video that typically landed on Tuesday nights, I'm putting it in on Friday because of he was so nice to come in and hang out with us. Anyways, I'm out of here. It's 10 o'clock. I'm going to bed. See you guys.